everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Dan the Glassman here. It is Wednesday, March 8th, I believe. And I believe it's Wednesday. And we are on our way to March 22nd, World Water Day. So, I'm working on a lot of these here. So I had an order for 100 of these. The drop of water. The original clear drop of water there. You know, the actual original one was cobalt blue, but then we changed it up to the clear because we're all fighting for and advocating for clean drinking water for all. So better to have clean water drop, clear water drop like this. So we've deemed this as the original, the drop of water here, and now hold on one second. Hold on one sec. Let me just get rid of the volume here. And then we have the ocean in a drop, which when I first came out with this is basically just the drop of water 2.0. It's the difference between a round water drop, completely round all the way, right, compared to the flatback style pendants that we make, which is the drop of water 2.0. And you can see just how much bigger that one is in comparison. So it's about a ½ inch bigger, I would assume, and a lot wider. So it's a lot different. And this is the drop of water 2.0, which is being deemed as ocean in a drop. So that's exclusive mentioning right here. But it hasn't, I don't know if it's really been introduced or revealed yet. I haven't actually gone to the websites to check and verify if they're up or not yet. But that'll be coming up soon with the Drop of Water campaign in Canada. So my friend Michael Coles, who runs the Drop of Water campaign, which is an offshoot of the Drop of Water, and he does his own gifting, his own gift campaigning, and he does a lot of different actions. He's very active in the things that he does, and connecting important individuals together, and it's been a beautiful connection that him and I have both had and shared together. So before we get started here, I'm gonna just share this out real quick. Just want to invite a few people in from other different areas. You know, usually, this would be promoted first, but sometimes I just decide, let's just go live today. And then I just choose to go live, not really any sort of plan or anything. But I kind of wanted to talk about World Water Day. So every year, World Water Day is March 22nd. And I just found out about this only a few years ago. Before Standing Rock and before, a lot of things was going on, I was simply just blowing glass and paying attention to the environmental changes, this whole thing of, we're going into an ice age, way back in the 80s and 90s, and then we're going into instead of an ice age, we're going into global warming, And now, instead of ice age or global warming, now we're going into climate change. And so, you know, it's all different titles or whatever it is. But, hold on one second. All right. So, I don't know what I was saying, but World Water Day is every year, March 22nd, and you know, a lot of people know about Earth Day, and which is April 22nd, so just 1 month before. So, like I was saying, I had barely found out about World Water Day recently, you know, before getting into all of this with Standing Rock and all of the other things, you know, watching what was going on with the Nemus River, Flint, Michigan, you know, all the water contaminations that has been going on in recent years. And, you know, this has been going on for a really long time. It just seems like the regulations are getting a little bit more and more lax, and corporate dollar is able to get the vote, I guess, to be able to advocate for their business, the corporate needs and stockholder shares over what may happen, you know, the desecration of the land, poisoning the water and the surrounding area, the whole supply, and anyone who has anything to do with that supply, you know, anyone who drinks it, who utilizes it, all the animals that are downstream, you know. So a lot of the corporations have been able to get away with paying fines to pollute the water, to get away with polluting the water, which is really sad. You know, it's something that they have the money to be able to afford to do so. And I think what needs to happen is situations like this, like especially things going on right now, like in East Palestine, Ohio. You know, we still got individuals who are out there in East Palestine, Ohio, coming from Flint, Michigan, when Flint, Michigan hasn't even been completely cleaned up yet, you know? And now they've moved on to a whole nother fight, even though the fight over in Michigan still hasn't been completed. You know, there's so many things going on, and a lot of water protectors and individuals who are advocates for clean drinking water, and who advocate against polluting the air, the water, the soil, you know. There's a lot going on right now, and hardly the one thing that's not going on is the accountability from all of these companies and corporations, you know. And you have individuals who are all part of it in some way or another. You got judges who, you know, they got their pockets full from different corporations and things like that. So, you know, they get lobbied to let certain things slide or go, you know, for some individuals, while others get completely prosecuted to the fullest. And I think what needs to happen is we all need to come together as humanity, and instead of having these individual laws, you know, you got to go to the city, or you got to go to the county, or you got to go to the state, or oh no, this is on a federal level, or you got to take this to the Supreme Court, or you know, or no, this is too small, you got to take this just to your magistrate or your district court, or, you know, whatever it is. What we need to do is we need to actually create these sort of these situations, you know, any sort of way of polluting the water, it should be looked at as crimes against humanity, you know. And, you know, as soon as I say that, I start thinking about, okay, well, how do you regulate that when everyone is polluting and desecrating the water currently? I mean, so many households are still using chemical pollutants, you know, chemicals to clean with. You know, it's kind of like what they're trying to do right now in East Palestine, Ohio, where they're using chemicals, dousing chemicals upon chemicals to get rid of chemicals. It don't make no sense to me. But to some of y'all think that using chemicals is a good way of cleaning, when really you're just, you know, you're desecrating your own immune system, your own health in that way. Your family, your friends, whoever you invite over, your company, you know, whoever you invite into your home, whoever you introduce into your own personal environment. You know, a lot of people don't realize, you know, you go, you know, you're expecting company, right? What do? You go and you douse your whole home with bleach, right? You go clean it up, make sure it's all nice and spick and span, right? Go use some of that spick and span, or go use some of that Ajax, that Windex, that Mr. Clean, right? So, you know, a lot of times, before you even introduce or invite your guests or company over, you're setting them up for chemical warfare coming into your home. And see, that's the thing, is we already live in this mindset, right? So why do any of us feel that we can point the fingers at these corporate big shots who are doing basically the same thing? They're on a larger scale, you know? Instead of just doing it in their own homes, well, now the things they do, it affects everyone's home. It affects neighborhoods, you know, miles wide. It affects communities, cities, states. But it's still just the same thing. It's still the same mentality of, oh yeah, we're just going to clean this up with more chemicals, because that's what we've all been taught to do. That's what our grandmothers taught us to do, guys. Our grandmas taught us how to pollute the water by using these really awesome, fancy chemicals and cleaners that came from the Industrial Revolution and the turn of the century. And oh my gosh, it's such a futuristic way of living, you know? Just using all of these nasty chemicals and toxins, you know, keep feeding the environment, you know, just like everyone does with their own bodies, you know. They're continuously feeding their bodies with toxins as they have cancers, or as they have autoimmune systems or deficiencies, as they have different sorts of diseases, and they don't understand that part of it is because of what they're doing to themselves in their own homes, using these forever chemicals. You know, how many people have actually created mustard gas on accident in their home simply by cleaning with bleach one day, you know, and then, you know, maybe you run out of Clorox, right? You know, and throughout this whole time right now, you know, it's really crazy is a lot of individuals have been, they've been so hooked on this thing, use these handy wipes, right? All these Clorox wipes or bleach wipes, whatever these chlorinated wipes are, right? Excuse me. I don't know if individuals are actually reading the labels. I don't have a container. I mean, we used to have a box of our old chemicals that we would use to like reference back, like, oh, look at this, look at these old chemicals, and we would do like live videos next to Norwex. And just so you know, I always promote and endorse Norwex. You know, I got it right here on my torch. You know, we're always endorsing Norwex and, you know, the Norwegian experience. You know, this keeps the glass clean, you know. It gets rid of all of the fingerprints and all of the dust, the dirt, and debris. So I have nice, clean glass before it gets in the flame. And so I'm always promoting Norwex because it helps us to remove the chemicals. We can clean with just water. I don't have an enviro cloth or a body cloth with me, but basically this is just for the optics. This is for cleaning your glasses and cleaning. I use it for my glass. And so they have these microfiber cloths that you use only water. They do have natural enzyme cleaners that you can use, but I'd stay away from them. I basically just stick with the water because water is life. And the reason why I got into Norwex was when I was living off grid and I was trying to get away from using soap, dish soap specifically, so we could keep that water, because the water was draining down into a bucket at first, and we were collecting the 5-gallon bucket of water that was draining in the sink and taking it out to the plants and feeding our plants. And I didn't want to continuously feed them with Dawn or Ajax or Palm Olive or whatever dish soap that we always, because everyone would bring different kinds. You know, it wasn't always the same one. Like someone would come to camp, they'd be hanging out for the weekend or the week or whatever, or a month or whatever, and they'd bring their own supplies. So, hey, here you go, I brought this from home, and whatever you get's whatever you get. You know, when you're out there in camp, you know, you kind of are. You get donations left and right from individuals and people who come by, you know, to stay. They want to help out in their ways by sharing what they have, you know. And so I got away from all the dish soap and everything by getting into Norwex, by investing in a 3-pack of these kitchen, or these countercloths. I don't know, there's some sort of a textured countercloth or whatever they have there. And I started using those, but no one else jumped on board with me. So I was the only one who was trying not to pollute the water. And then everyone else, so, you know, it was like a lost cause. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take these to my own camp over here, you know, to my one-drop studio. And I just kept them in there and I just used them for my own dishes. I was like, these people ain't ever going to get away from it. And that's what I understand right now is a lot of you individuals are watching this and you're still using bleach, Ajax, Windex, you know, Dawn, Palm Olive, all these dish soaps. You know, your laundry soap is full of this blue colored dye or this weird color, you know, and then the dryer sheets are full of all these harmful chemicals, compounds, and you know, just all these forever chemicals and volatile organic compounds, the VOCs, and just so many different things that are harmful to us. And you know, we're trying to point the finger at what all these chemical companies are doing, like Norfolk Southern Railway, right? And we're not even trying to understand the pollution that we're doing in our own homes or to our own bodies, to our own selves. You know, so it's like that song Bob Marley sang, right? Before you point your finger, before your hands are clean, judge not. Before you judge yourself, judge not. Before we give you more judgment. Oh. You know what I mean? So Bob Marley, he knew, you know, you don't put out that judgment until you can understand what part you have in the role, in this whole thing itself, you know? Yeah, Norfolk Southern Railway, they dropped a bomb there, so to speak, you know? But individual consumers, consumerism itself, was the reason why we needed to get those chemicals from point A to point B, wherever they were going. We needed the PVC material for the plumbing that we have in our homes, because we got away from the concrete, the Roman aqueduct sort of plumbing from way back in the day. We got away from the copper, which copper piping is so much better for us, but copper is expensive and they need to use copper for other things. So they don't want to use it for the waterway, even though drinking from copper is the best way and the best source of drinking. Well, besides out of your hand, out of your own hand is the best way with that pure vibration energy source. But drinking from a copper vessel, there's something about the water, the copper. I think because water is kind of like its own natural magnet. We are our own natural, like, electromagnetic energy sources, right? On a cellular level, I mean, that's all it is. It's just electric protons and neutrons running around each other, right? Creating a circuit, you know, a motor, basically creating. It's like, you know, when you have a spinning magnet with copper, right? That's all water is. So you're energizing and recharging that water, and that's why it's so good and so important to drink from copper, and why we should probably go back to using copper for our water supplies. But I don't know what happened. We had to start cutting corners, right? And when we cut corners, that's when we have issues like this, right? I gotta draw this line real quick, so I might go quiet for a moment. Sorry about that. I went quiet on you because sometimes it gets a little touchy on doing the line work. Got to make sure to line it up properly right along that blue so I can get that effect that I'm going for on having the blue highlighted by the white. You see that? We drew that white line all the way around that blue there. So, you know, it's real important to see what we're doing in our own homes. You know, being an environmentalist, a true environmentalist, it starts from the home. You know, you can't point the finger or tell people what to do on the outskirts of your home if you haven't done it yourself. If you're not recycling in your own home, if you're not, you know, drinking the best water, you're not eating the best quality foods, things like that. You know, understanding, you know, like I was teaching my 10-year-old the other day on, you know, there's a connection with eating meat and water consumption and the overuse of water, and how by being a meat eater, it's actually a waste of water, or maybe not a waste, but just to think about, for 1 pound of beef that's produced in the United States, it takes 2,000 gallons of water to you know, keep that that cow hydrated to keep the all the grains growing, you know, to water the grains that are growing for the cow to eat throughout its lifetime before it's taken to slaughter. You know, so 2,000 pounds. And how big, how many pounds of meat does one get from a cow? You know I have friends who, they go out and they buy like a whole half a slab or a quarter or something like that. Like, I've never done any of that. I've never really been that big of a meat eater in my whole life. You know, I've always had digestive issues with meat, and I learned that, I guess, more so like in high school. And you know, it took a while to finally realize, like, oh, if I just change up my diet and, you know, substitute certain foods for certain things, that my digestion was a lot better. You know, so I was really conscious early on with my health and my digestion. You know, maybe more so than most individuals would be. You know, I started thinking about that kind of stuff in high school. But sorry, I get sidetracked when I'm blowing glass because I start paying attention to what I need to do here, and I lose my train of thought on what I'm saying. But you know, the gist of it is we all need to personally take our own personal accountability on what's going on. You know, it's like what's happening in Ohio. You know, that company definitely needs to take personal accountability. Now, as a water protector, as someone who advocates for actions and protests, you know, things such as Standing Rock and, you know, many other actions and protests before that, all the way back to like the days of Dr. King, you know, it's always good for the people to question what the authorities are forcing them to do, and to stand up and to protest against anything that they deem is not right and not wanted by our society or our civilization. And so, you know, for me, I feel it's quite important to stop the operations of Norfolk Southern until they can have a real discussion with the people of East Palestine and every other incident, any other location that the Norfolk Southern trains have derailed recently, you know, including just something happening with a dump truck, big old truck colliding with the train. How does that happen? You know, while an engineer is on the outside of the train, he's no longer with us. May he rest in peace. I don't know if they're getting rid of individuals or not. I don't know if this individual saw what was going on, if he was an advocate for better detectors and things. Maybe he called them out. And so we'll have to look into who this individual is and what kind of a role he played with Norfolk Southern. But yeah, this company needs to be held accountable. But then again, like I've been saying, every one of us individually, we also need to be held accountable for the things that we're doing with our own water supply. So if you are polluting your water in some way, how can you reduce that pollution? You know, if you can eliminate it entirely, completely, 100%, then more power to you. Amazing, right? But to be able to change, you know, what grandma taught you and to change that overnight, You know, some people hold it dear, like, this is what my mama taught me, and I'm always gonna do it the way my mama taught me. You know, and they get like really attached to those ways. They're never gonna want to try something new and something different, right? So many individuals still, you know, I talk to all my friends, family members, they all know about Norwest, right? All of y'all that I've been talking to, y'all know about Norwest. But how many of y'all have actually taken me up on it and actually clicked the link and gone to check it out for yourself? Really done some research on the company, on the products, on what they stand for, how long they've been around. You know, I think they've been around for about as long as I've been blowing glass. Since the 90s. How amazing is that? So for like 28 years, I think they are, maybe, I think it's 28 years is what they've done. And I am celebrating 27 years. So they're 1 year in business than I've been. Now, they've done a lot better for themselves and become a global mass marketing campaign, an amazing product that's in only 30%, or sorry, not 30, only 3% of the homes across the world. That is such a small number. Only 3% of the world knows about Norway. And yet, maybe 100% of my viewers here know about Norway. So y'all are privy to some pretty damn elite information here. This is the Norwegian experience that we're bringing to you, to America. You know, and my friend told me, oh, I've had the Norwegian experience. And then he told me how he got, you know, well, we'll not get into that. But this is definitely a very beautiful way of getting pampered, you know, especially with the body cloth. If you have a body cloth, then you don't need to use soap. All you need is water, and you get your whole body, your skin completely exfoliated. So I guess my friend was saying that the Norwegian experience was, you know, getting looped up, you know, on all sides, you know, by two individuals, and you get all looped up. So, you know, the dead skin, you know, you like basically just get like a nice refreshing cleansing, you know. And so with the body cloth, you know, it's not like a crazy a loofah that's scraping you off, but the microfiber cloth does remove the bacteria using only water and just the microfiber alone. So it is like kind of a really soft, gentle loofah that helps to remove everything. It's so beautiful. And they have cloths for the whole entire home, so not just your body, but your whole entire home, to clean everything. And so, you know, I always promote Norwest because I'm always promoting how we, as individuals, can change our ways in our own homes. You know, as an environmentalist, we definitely need to start with our own personal journeys and being able to really make true change, starting from ourselves, you know, starting from within our bodies, you know, being able to change our diets in a way that's more conducive to all living species and all living souls here on the planet. to be able to find that symbiosis, that perfect harmony, harmonizing your frequency to balance that frequency and that energy with all living things together. You know, a lot of humans find that we're just superior, and so because we're superior, apparently that gives us this power that we can then just trample upon anything and everything. And we forget that the reason why we're superior is because we're supposed to have a more superior intellect than the living kingdom, the other animal kingdom, because we are supposed to understand our connection with Creator and our prescribed duties. We have been prescribed to become guardians and stewards of this vessel to help take care of the planet and all living things. And water is a living thing, so being a water protector and helping to take care of the water is part of that stewardship. So any water protector is simply just doing what we should all be doing in the first place. But not everyone's doing that, so there are many individuals on this planet who stand out more so than others. There are people who are go-getters and doers, and then there's a lot of people who are just talkers. And a lot of them talkers, you know, they might come up with solutions or things, whether they're doing it themselves. And then there's a lot of talkers who are just complainers and people who just want to try to shut you down because your idea is better than, I mean, they don't have any ideas. They don't come up with solutions. So, of course, your idea is a lot better than theirs, 100%. So individuals, we call them trolls these days. They like to try to shut you down and stuff like that, you know. Or they'll try to say, oh, you're just always doing this to try to sell people on Norway. You're just a swindler. You're just a shyster. Like, whatever. Like, I don't care if you don't want the Norwegian experience. Shit. Okay. Like, for me, it doesn't matter, you know. Like I've told my wife, you know, it doesn't pay the bills. We do it because we're environmentalists. You know? We do it, you know, I give out water drops because I truly believe in these water protectors and the fact that they dedicated their lives to protecting water, to being advocates. I mean, even if they can't, like, go into the water supply and, like, get rid of all the murk, all the gunk, or whatever that's in there, right? At least they can create advocacy for getting the right organizations or the right people to come together to actually watch, or to actually come up with solutions. And also just so people can see what's going on. You know, right now, everyone's eyes, I'm pretty sure everyone's eyes have been on East Palestine, right? And even though our eyes are on the event, how many minds are on the solution? There's a problem. Now we need a solution. In business, in order to make money, you point out the problems and then you offer a solution and you make money. Now, did Norfolk Southern create a problem for other organizations and agencies to come in to point out a problem, to create a solution, so then they can make money off of the situation? That's a whole different conversation. But it's very plausible and feasible because the problem solution path works in that way. If you create a problem when you already know the solution, right? Or you create a solution for a problem that doesn't yet exist, well, it's gold, right? You got that golden egg. You got that golden Easter egg right there. you know. So it's pretty amazing that we're now all gathering here around this event. You know, it's what that movie White Noise was talking about, and how everyone's gathering around. But now we need to come up with solutions. So as a water protector, I'm really trying to understand the science of what's going on with this all. So for what I understand, this vinyl chloride, and there's three other chemicals that have been mixed together, and which has created now these other chemicals, which is very noxious and cancerous, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. And anyone who breathes that in, they've already created the cell damage within. You know, their cells are now, you know, their health is gone. For the rest of their lives, their health will diminish. If they're still in East Palestine, they will diminish. The firefighters right now, you know, they're talking about, I was going to say complaining, but they're talking about how they were never given any sort of protective gear. And they're now not allowed to really be around. And they're not given any sort of answers either on the health effects that, or different risks that they might now be facing. And a lot of these health effects are, these conditions are showing up, symptoms are showing up within the firefighters that went after the first responders. So anyone who's been out there, you know, even for a little amount of time, they have, they've already damaged their cells, and there's no coming back from that. I mean, unless, and see, this is one thing, it's really interesting, is that I understand that there is technology that can actually destroy cancer cells. If I understand that there's this technology, well, all the elite know this. All those individuals who are going to these places that are desecrated and heavily polluted, well, either that's their own personal sacrifice. They know that they're going to get sick. A lot of these individuals are already old and past their prime anyways. And so, you know, they already done what they needed to do. They understand their role in this whole situation and what they were supposed to do to make things occur, you know, and then their family will be set for life, you know, and then these old individuals will pass on, you know, they'll call it natural causes, but maybe it'll be from cancer because they were in places such as East Palestine, or they went to Flint, Michigan, or went to different stands like Standing Rock and protests and different things, you know, to try to show that, oh no, it's not very harmful. Here, watch. Let me take a sip of this water from your tap right here. Right? Not drinking the whole thing. Not any one of them individuals gulped and chugged their water down. Like, damn, I'm thirsty. Like, no, they all took a sip. And you know, and then what? Did they go and all purge? You know, they all go and force themselves to throw up after that? Do they all take some medicine? You know, do they all know that if they do get cancer, that that's just part of their sacrifice in what they're doing to push the narrative that everything is A-okay and things are all good? Because things aren't all good, as you guys can see. There's reports from East Palestine that at night it is so eerie because you don't hear any crickets chirping, you don't hear any dogs barking, you don't hear any sort of wildlife, no birds, no owls, no nothing. Right? And this is in a place where you would hear that. You know, I live in Albuquerque. It's a huge metropolitan city. But if I went to East Palestine, I would hear the difference. You'd hear all that natural wildlife and everything, right? So it's not safe there. I believe Norfolk Southern just yesterday or the day before, they finally started to pay for relocation of individuals and giving them a spending card without forcing anyone into any sort of a clause agreement where they don't have any right to sue or anything afterwards. That they now have this credit card that they can use on a daily. It's a $500 weekly spending limit, so they get $2,000 a month. That's the stimulus right there, guys. The $2,000 a month stimulus, remember? Remember they were pushing for that for everyone? Right? Digital IDs, now you get that stimulus package. East Palestine residents are going to be some of the first U.S. residents to be receiving the basic monthly income, the BMI. They're also going to be the first residents to be receiving that digital ID. So they can be tracked and traced, have their health tracked and traced. So then individuals can know what sort of damage they caused and how far spread it went. They can track it all and see, okay, well, if we do a plume this big in a little small town, you know, and then they go out and this and that, and you know, that plume, we evacuate for 1 mile, but it went 3 miles. The fallout is at least 3 miles, plus you got the wind currents and all the jet stream and everything that's pushing everything to the eastern states, all the East Coast. I believe on the day, February 6th, the currents were pushing to the south. So I believe that everything first went southeast, and then the jet streams went back to pushing everything up north towards Maine. So everything went from southeast to northeast. And the entire East Coast has been inundated with that fallout chemical. And one thing that I've learned about this chemical is that I guess it's supposed to be odorless, but yet there's an odor. That's probably because of the mixture of different chemicals. It's how do they say it? It's not compatible or cohesive with soil. So what I understand is, like, you know, oil and water, they're not compatible or cohesive. You know, oil will always float on top of water. Oil is lighter, I guess. Water is heavier. Is that true? Or is it the other way around? It might be the other way around, sorry. Right, actually oil is heavier, so it falls down to the bottom, but in like the lava lamps and things like that, when you heat it up, then it, you know, then it rises, and then you can get those little bubble lamps and things like that, which are really cool. So, if you can understand that, you know, even when you mix the oil in the water, even if you shook it all up to try to get it to mix, right? It would still just be little tiny bubbles or droplets of the oil all within the water. So what I'm understanding is that this chemical is not compatible or cohesive with soil. So they're digging it up, and as they're digging it up, it's getting airborne again. And they're burning it out of the soil because it doesn't stick to the soil. So they're basically just like burning it out, like evaporating it out of the soil, I guess, to clean the soil. but all of those plumes or the fumes are going right into the air. Now, this is going to cause problems to everyone around the world. The whole northern hemisphere, all this stuff is going to be carried around. So I'm just wondering if the elite don't even care anymore. This is their sacrifice. They know they're all getting cancer. We're all going to get cancer at some point. But there is technology that can kill cancer cells with a rice machine, with the sonic sound vibrations, using this sonic, like a sonic gun. It basically has two sound waves that are separated by the 11th octave. One's at a higher frequency, one's at a lower frequency, separated by the 11th octave. At a like a 100,000 megahertz frequency, like, so it's, you know, vibrating so fast. And you have both of those sound waves, the higher and the lower, divided by the 11th octave, that then get basically like shot towards the patient, the cancer patient, and it penetrates through the body, and they find a specific megahertz frequency that I believe might resonate with, or maybe it's the counterintuitive resonance of the vibration of the actual cancer cell. And they've done this with leukemia, where they've taken leukemia cells and destroyed them without harming a single good cell in the body. The ones that were just right next to the leukemia cells, none of the other cells were harmed. So I'm wondering if these elite, you know, these powers that be, they go in to show us, oh no, it's safe, when they know it's not, but yet, you know, they don't really care because they understand that there is this technology, and if they do develop any sort of cancer cells or anything, that maybe they have the opportunity, being who they are and who they know and who they, which paychecks that they write out to individuals, that they could actually, that they already have the cure for themselves, right? But these technologies are not available to us, to the general public. Most people don't know about this sonic sound wave vibration that kills cancer cells without harming any of the others. You know, that we always talk about frequency, energy, and vibration here on my channel, or at least I do. I don't know about we, but I do. And, you know, like talking about the water and the copper and how that works. There is a true science to this nature. You know, there's a Vedic science to this nature where it is as it is. There is no changing it. You know, a carbon atom will always be a carbon atom no matter what. Or, you know, a hydrogen atom, or you know, gold, silver, anything. You know, when you look at it on the atomic level in the periodic chart, you know, when you're looking at the actual, the autonomy of the atom itself on that microcosmic level, when you can understand that it's all through vibration, frequency, and energy, they have this technology, guys. They just don't make it available to us. So that's why, you know, there's like individuals, the Hare Krishnas, they're always chanting, they're always praying. The Buddhist monks, they're always chanting and praying. They're creating an energy vibration within themselves and around them, in the whole surrounding vicinity around them, to create a more positive rather than negative current charge. It's not good or bad, it's just positive or negative. You know? I mean, as far as situations, you can say things are good or bad, you know, like getting vinyl chloride into the water, that's bad. But the negative aspect of it is the vibrational sense on the atomic level, is that you change the atomic composition of that water molecule by adding in these other chemical molecules. So it doesn't vibrate anymore as what it used to be. It no longer has that signature vibration it once was. Can we clean the water through vibration? I don't know. Can we vibrate the chemicals out of the soil? And then what? Can they reclaim it? Can they put it through a process with nanotechnology and graphene bucky paper in order to be able to filter it, like the way they can filter salt from water, seawater, and turning it into pure water by a very microscopic membrane that allows for the water molecule to access its way through, but holds back any other molecules that are bigger than that water molecule. Is there a way that we can do this with graphene technology? And a lot of people don't like the graphene technology because it's petroleum-based graphene that most individuals talk about these days, but some of us understand that there's hemp graphene, which is a superconductor far greater and better than the graphene they create from the petroleum-based graphene. So by using hemp, that would be a lot better for the environment and things like that. So as an environmentalist, I'm always going to be mentioning things like that, you know, other solutions that we have while talking about other solutions. So using hemp graphene is a lot better. It's more cost-effective in production and manufacturing, and would be a lot more affordable to the general public if they allow it to be more affordable. You know, just because it's cheaper to produce doesn't mean that the price is going to be cheaper to purchase. That just means that there could be a bigger profit gain if they kept the price the same, but able to produce it for a lot less expensive. There's a bigger profit gain, and shareholders will be happy, and if you own stock in that whatever company that does that, then you will be very happy, right? It's all about stockholders and making sure that the bottom line, that bottom dollar, and the profits are always met, and that they're not losing money, but making money. That's why people invest in these things, and that's why it's basically, you know, it's not just on Norfolk Southern, but all of the investors as well. So if you invest in a train company like Norfolk Southern, then you may also be held accountable, or should be, or are part of the problem. I'm not really sure how to categorize that. I just know that we all kind of have our hands in the cookie jar, you know. As a renter, I have no say in what kind of plumbing goes here. They're going to use PVC all day, right? It's the best, you know. It's better than that other, I don't know what kind of metal they use. It's not copper, but it's some kind of like steel, fabricated steel. That's definitely not good for your water to be going through. Very corrosive. But copper would be so much better. It's just, I guess the water mineral tends to build up on copper. All right, so, yeah, getting back to, as a water protector, we really should try to figure out solutions to this problem. One of the biggest solutions right now is the people in East Palestine to get out. That's the biggest solution I can think of right now, is they need to leave. They just shouldn't be there. I don't know why. They're risking their life, their health. They're waiting for someone to tell them it's safe to go home when they know it's not safe. But they also don't have the means and the money to be leaving, to just up and leave. And that's part of the problem, is we're all guilty. Being human, our own human nature makes us guilty of this desire, this need, this want for materialism. And a lot of individuals are keeping themselves, holding themselves hostage, basically, keeping themselves imprisoned in their own homes right now because they do not want to let go of their possessions. They are possessed by their own possessions and they cannot walk away. If it were me, I would have been gone since day one. Well, probably since day 3, because that's when they blew it up. So probably maybe like day 2.5. Once I heard, wait, they're gonna do what? They're gonna light that? What's in there again? Like, I would have already been researching that. You know, I already was, and I don't even live there. I'm all way across the country in Albuquerque, New Mexico, far removed from the situation that's going on in East Palestine, yet I'm waking up in the morning as though I'm living there. I'm waking up in the morning, jumping online to see what is the latest news and information that they've come out with. What have they found out? What is going on? Since the beginning, I've been following this. Eventually, a week or two, or I don't know how long later, I decided, you know what? This is huge enough that I need to actually archive this information, put it in a bunch of playlists here on YouTube, so people can have public access to these playlists. And I'm just going to start saving a lot of the important videos. There's so many. And there's so many that are so long, 3 hours long, 5 hours long. You know, and they go into so much detail, and you get to talk to the individuals, and you get to hear their individual stories and, you know, their whole recollection of what they went through, what they witnessed, what they see happening, what they see not happening. You know, that female that went out days before, I think it was like the next day or 2 days later, before they actually did the controlled burn, which is never controlled when you just allow plumes. There is no controlling the air toxins and pollutants. That was no control. It was a controlled explosion, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. They controlled the shrapnel. It's controlled shrapnel. That's all they did. They controlled those tankers from exploding and shrapnel going out. They did not control the burn. They did not control the plumes and the fumes and the toxic fallout. This is a airborne toxic event. So, like I said, I'm out here, way out here, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I wake up in the morning ready to find out what is going on out here. So I don't know if individuals are doing that out there as well. But I would be. I'd be doing my due diligence like I already am, trying to figure out what's going on. But I also wouldn't be there. And I don't know what I would be doing. You know, of course, if I was living on that side of the country or whatever, it's probably because for some reason I have family or friends out that way. I wouldn't just go out into the middle of nowhere without knowing anyone or anything, right? It's part of the reason why I stay here, because I have such a huge network of individuals here who are all very like-minded. And, you know, if there was ever a need for us to get out of where we're at here, I'm quite confident that I have several places that I could go to, whether it be within the city, within the county, within the state, within the area of this country, you know, or outside the country. I am confident to know that there are places that I've been invited to, and hopefully those invitations are still standing. And yeah, I would, if I needed to just leave with the clothes on my back, so be it. That's what I would have done. So now we got this issue with the water, guys. About 4 days ago, the dam that they built, this man-made makeshift dam to hold the water back and to hold the chemicals in a pool, so then they could basically vacuum them out or clean them out or whatever they're doing, aerating it, whatever they're doing, right? The rains came in, and these individuals who built this makeshift dam, they're trying to say, oh no, we planned this to happen. It was meant to fall over when the rains came. We wanted, like, no, don't even try. you messed up. You didn't realize, or you did realize, and now you're trying to just say, oh yeah, well we knew that it was going to rain, so we knew that this was going to happen. Like, okay, so if you knew this was going to happen, you predicted that this was going to happen, then hold on a second. I knew it. I dropped a piece of hot glass on me and I smelt it. I knew it. I could smell something in the air. But yeah, like I would have been gone, man. And those people knew it, that they built that makeshift dam. The rain was going to come. It was going to eventually just overflood and just... So then they could say, well, we tried, but Mother Nature took over. Mother Nature was relentless. Or they're going to say, oh no, we cleaned it up enough and we allowed that water to overflow, so then we could bring in new dirty water, so then we could dam it up again and stop it. Like, how do you know where that line is, or how do you, like, nah, man. There's no way. I don't, like, what needs to be done, seriously, is that whole entire Sulphur Run and Leslie Run needs to be relocated. And how do you relocate a whole entire river, a whole entire water run? You know, you just have to let that water then flood through some other area, right? You have to create diversion channels to allow the water to then bypass that area, and you cut it off and you let those places just go dry, and you let that town become a ghost town. So that's all that I can see happening. With what Erin Brockovich was saying, you know, she's been working with this town in California, right? and she won the case, right? That's the whole movie with Julia Roberts, right? Aaron Brockovich, right? That whole movie, right? And she won the case, right? 30 years ago. That place, still being cleaned up, was just rescheduled for another 50-year cleanup. So 30 years ago, she won the case. Now they added an additional 50 years, so that's 80 years total so far. And I'm pretty sure they'll probably have to add an additional another 50 years in about 30 to 50 years from now. So we're looking at least a century, a 100-year cleanup time frame, which I don't think the individuals of East Palestine are really understanding. You don't have a town. You do not have heritage anymore. That property that you thought I was going to leave to my children so they could leave to their children, to leave to their grandchildren, to leave to their grandchildren, and so on and so forth and so on and so forth. Well, your dreams have been taken away by the powers that be. They're coming in to buy you out of your land. Individuals like BlackRock, people like Bill Gates buying up all this farmland, right? For what? Well, we'll find out soon enough. So this East Palestine, Ohio, will no longer be inhabitable, and eventually people will find out. Eventually the truth will come. People will be saddened, right? The whole town will be just completely devastated at that news. Once that news comes, I mean, they're already in total devastation now, right? Imagine being told your whole entire town is done for. You won't be able to return for at least 100 years. That's what's going to happen, guys. So, that's why it's really important for individuals, water protectors, to come together right now to really create a stand for what's happening here. But, a lot of water protectors, they are native, indigenous, who don't even want people on this Turtle Island anymore. So something inside of them goes against helping just humanity, because then they start thinking about how their land was taken. And they kind of want to see it happen to other individuals, especially white folk, I ain't gonna lie. And that's pretty much what we got up there in East Palestine. So there's probably not going to be a huge movement of water protectors coming in. Only true environmentalists, true brothers and sisters of humanity, who do not allow for any sort of segregation to occur between us, because we're all from the same creator. We are all the same. And yeah, some DNA may be different than others, that's fine. Dog's DNA is not the same as the human DNA, right? We're all brothers and sisters still. Even all of the two-legged, the four-legged, the winged ones, the ones with the scales, the ones with the fins, the ones without legs, they're all our brothers and sisters. But they're individual water protectors who only will fight for the cause if it has to do with
their own clan, their own tribe, their own people, not realizing that we are all the same people. So until we can get past that segregation and the whole racism and all this stuff that's just stupid, well, until we can get past all that, we're not going to be able to really come to any sort of agreements and solutions and what we can do and how we can get individuals out of office, out of power, so we can get true leaders into power and get real individuals who actually care about the stewardship that we were given by Creator, the guardianship that we were given. Until we actually find individuals who are true guardians and stewards of this planet, we need to stop voting for these idiots in. You know, we got idiots who are running everything, right? And I'm talking like even on your daily job, right? How many of you are employees for someone that you consider is a complete idiot? But he's writing your check, right? Or she, they are writing your check, right? Even though they're complete idiots, you work for them. So who's the idiot there? It's interesting when you think about things like that. So we, as Americans, are working for these idiots here who we've placed into power, even though they're running the company down into the ground. There's like, okay, we're going down with you on the ship. Like, no, only the captain goes down on the ship. Everyone else bails out. You go find another ship. You go find another captain. The captain goes down with the ship. Not all the employees. Not all the residents. I don't know. I'm just getting way off topic here. But until we can actually get to this like-minded state of understanding that we are all brothers and sisters, it don't matter what pigment or whatever. Doesn't even matter if you're a dog or a cat. We are brothers and sisters. Some of us may have more intellectual wisdom and understanding and knowledge. Our brains may work a little bit more. We can actually have conversations and communication in a language that we've created while writing it down, compared to animals who aren't able to. They might be able to communicate in their own language, but do they write things down? There might be some who do, scratches on the walls or on the trees or things like that. You can consider writing, markings. But the difference is they are just in their devotional service. We are not. Until we can understand that that is our duty, is to be guardians and stewards of this vessel. Then we can become in devotional service. We can then figure out solutions for each other, for one another, instead of trying to compete with each other every day. So, yeah, I really don't know what we can do about this situation in East Palestine, Ohio. You know, I've heard Dakota Access Pipeline up in Standing Rock has been running without a permit for like, I don't know how many days now. Hundreds or thousands of days. I think like 2,000 actually. But yeah, they have a judge. You know, they have court orders. I know when I went to court and a judge told me that I had to do this or to do that, and if I didn't do it, I'd get fined more or I'd get thrown in jail, right? And they would come after me for little things, compared to something like this where Norfolk Southern completely destroys a town. You know, and how many times have they been in front of a judge and the judge's like, hey, go clean up your mess, and then, okay, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to fine you this amount for the mess you made again. Okay, sorry, we'll just send you a check, Judge. And then the courts get paid. Wow, the system gets paid when these events occur. And they simply just pay a fine and they get away with it. Now, until we can actually turn these kind of crimes into crimes against humanity, and we can actually charge individuals with, you know, if let's just say you're the owner operator of a business and you done desecrated a whole entire town and you uprooted hundreds of lives, you know, and this affects thousands of individuals, because it's not just the people in East Palestine, but now their families are getting phone calls day in and day out. Hey, can you help me take care of my kids? Hey, can we come and stay with you this weekend? Hey, can we come do our laundry over here? Hey, can you please help us? Can you send us more money, more money? Can you, like, it's not just the residents of East Palestine, guys. Their whole entire network of family and friends has now been affected by this, and their pockets, their paychecks, their banks, you know, everything, their livelihoods, their whole morale and demeanor. People are waking up with nightmares, worried that the trains in their cities are gonna create this kind of disaster in their own backyard. You got farmers who are finding trains and train cars that are just stopped on the tracks and parked right there next to their fields for weeks on end, wondering why are they just sitting there? What is going on? For real. More setups for the events to come. They got more scenes to shoot in this movie. I don't know if you guys pay attention to all this, but you know, the whole world is a stage, right? For me, you know, working in film, being an actor on occasion, working as a background actor, you know, I've done a stand-in work on occasion. I've been a featured background actor where I worked closely with the main actors and characters in the shows and things like that. I've been in huge scenes with riots and hundreds of extras. You know, these aren't professionals. These are people they find off the streets. They put out a casting call, say, "Hey, yo, will you come and work on the film? We got a role for you." "Yeah, great, awesome, thanks. We're gonna cast you as a rioter." "Okay, cool." Then you show up and you realize, whoa, they got like 200 or 300 of us here to riot. We're not trained in not hurting and harming individuals. We're not stuntmen or nothing like that, you know. So they run through it. "Okay, you guys, remember, this is just a movie. This is just pretend, but we want it to look real, right? So do the best you can at making it look as real as possible for the camera, but don't hurt yourself." All right? So then you have you got several individuals on scene, right, at this point, because you have a lot of individuals that they have to manage, right? A lot of directors directing individuals. "Okay, I want you guys to just go and do this over here and, you know, pretend like you're fighting. You guys over here, you're going to be in like a little struggle, you know, fighting over this fire or trash can or, you know, whatever." They give you some sort of directions on what you're going to do on the scene. And then they say, "Okay, ready, background and action." And then, so the background starts going and you're doing whatever, and then the action happens, and that's when the actors start going. And then you keep going until they yell cut. Then you do it again. There's been so many times when no director came to me and I just direct my own script. I create my own action in knowing what they want for the scene. They want a riot, they want rioters, they want people So I think, okay, well, I've watched a lot of riots, you know, on YouTube, following a lot of actions and protests, being on the front lines of certain protests and things, and knowing what it's like to get sprayed with mace, or, you know, to get pushed back by a whole line of cops while they have their shields out and their billy clubs out and their mace out, you know, things like that. When you have this already life experiences, you can then bring it right to the set. And so a lot of times when I'm on set, they know this. That's why they like to hire me, I think, is because they know that I'm never a problem. I never create issues on set. They don't have to like tell me, hey, you're not allowed to be over there. Hey, you're not supposed to talk to the actors. Hey, what are you doing? We're over here. You guys are supposed to be in holding over here. Hey, why are you getting the food that's for the actors? This is your guys' food. That's their food. Hey, like, you know, so many individuals are having to be babysat and told what to do all day on set, whereas there's other individuals who I consider myself a professional extra in background, working in sets and movie sets and things like that, that they know they don't have to worry about me, right? So, seeing how these events take place, you kind of understand how they create events, they create scenes. In that movie White Noise, the opening monologue of the movie, the whole first few minutes of it, talks about how they, in movies, the filmmakers, create these amazing events in the movies, you know, and specifically they're talking about car crashes, and how every car crash after car crash becomes better and better and better, and they try to get more emotional charge and more oohs and ahs, and you get people that are more personally connected. They feel that, you know, they feel the pain of the people inside, or they feel some sort of distraught. They have empathy and sympathy and all this stuff. And the filmmaker created all of that from make-believe with special effects and running a scene where they design the wreck to be so dramatic that it creates such a huge event that it draws the crowds. If you have some of the best special effects in a movie, that is going to draw the crowds to come see your film. So filmmakers learn this, and throughout the time in that movie White Noise, they're talking about how these events, these scenes, they get more and more bigger and better. And that these scenes are basically just to draw the crowds. That's all that they're meant to do, to draw the crowds. And the crowds are simply just to gather around those events, and then they do what they do. You know, some people may feel personally attacked, some people feel pain, some people feel empathy, some people just laugh like, whatever, at least it's not me. You know, some people will find ridicule in it. Some people will find humor in other people's pain and misery. You know, so at that point, it's individually all about the watcher, the individual who's watching the scene. So as individuals watching these things going on with our water, and how many water supplies and sources are getting contaminated and desecrated now, some people will rise up to action. Some people just simply like turn the channel, like, damn it, man, another one. Tired of seeing this shit. And they just change the channel. You know, some people will go run right into the fire, you know, to go and be very heroic and to do what they can and give themselves, which is one of the biggest things anyone can ever do, is to give themselves to any sort of situation, to any sort of person, you know, by giving devotional service to anyone or any individual or anything like that. So that's always huge and is very commendable. That's why we gift individuals who are water protectors the smallest thing that I can do is making something that takes me a few minutes to make, you know, and then when I tie it up, it's about 5 minutes of my time. So 5 minutes of my time, and I've gifted out 3,789 so far. We're 11 away from 3,800. Wow. We're almost at 3,800, guys. I just realized that. And that won't include these 100 or 200 that are going out, because this is a whole entire different campaign. Yes, it is for water protectors, but it's not the water protectors that I have personally gifted. These ones are being paid for out of pocket. The ones that I've been keeping track of are ones that have been gifted out of my own pocket for free, not the ones paid for. So if you consider that number of individuals being gifted is well over 3,800 already. But that's just my own personal number. 3,789 so far have been gifted to water protectors from all over the world. I have water drops in the White House. Now, the individual who has it isn't staying true to her word of being a strong advocate for water, clean drinking water, because her hands are tied. She's working under Biden. Hopefully, another president will come in and will keep her on board so she can actually make real moves. But basically, the Biden admin, they created a lot of diversification as far as individual races. The members, they wanted to make sure, you know, like, I don't want to sound rude or anything, but the reality is, like, back in the day, it used to be like, you know, on a work job, you always got all the white men hired, but you got the one black individual, right? The token black dude, right? The token black man. You know, even South Park talked about it. You always got to have that token individual, right? Well, the Biden admin basically like got a whole bunch of tokens of many different affiliations and brought them into office, including that crazy individual who was at one point in time in power of the nuclear defense. That transgender individual who was like way bonkers, right? And has a lot of mental health issues and probably shouldn't be anywhere near any kind of nuclear decision making. But that's all right. We got Mr. Kukio Biden as our president. You know, someone was saying in the video earlier how it's kind of like when Leslie Nielsen on, you know, Young Guns, or not Young, what is it? Sorry, Naked Gun. You know those comedies with Leslie Nielsen? And I guess, I don't know if it was in that movie or in some movie, but he played a president. You know, they were saying basically Biden is just playing the character as if it was Leslie Nielsen as the president. You know, just oh man, just a bumbling idiot, you know, just completely. But Leslie Nielsen, he's an actor, you know, so he's just acting. But some individuals say, no, these are all actors, right? The whole world's a stage. So it's interesting to see all these actors playing their roles. And some individuals thought they were cast to play certain roles, such as Deb Haaland, Interior Secretary of Defense. You know, she got elected and she thought she was going to be playing one role, And pretty much, she ain't done anything for water protection or for stopping oil pipelines or nothing like that, right? But the drop of water was gifted to her and probably in the lighthouse currently. But yeah, it is what we do. We gift out the drop of water. So I'm just mumbling away here. And I'm just working on these here. This is probably the only thing I'm going to work on today on this live. So if you're bored with this, you know, you don't have to stick around, of course. So let's get back on topic. So World Water Day, March 22nd, is every March 22nd, every year. You know, a lot of people know about Earth Day, which is April 22nd, but we have World Water Day. I don't know who the founder is of World Water Day. But it would be really good to find out who the founder is of World Water Day. Who founded World Water Day? Get in touch with that group, that organization, and have the drop of water available through them, so they can create a worldwide campaign of their own with World Water Day, and having individuals, you know, purchasing these, earning them in certain ways, or you know, doing certain tasks, you know, uploading videos to show how they care about the environment and the water, cleaning up the water, things like that. Honoring individual water protectors from all over the world. You know, the founder of World Water Day, that would be such a beautiful thing, is if they actually took on what I was doing on such a larger scale. And we could actually, like, bring individuals on water protectors into the news, and that just gave me a great idea, because I just thought, well, you know, there's got to be a news reporter, a local news reporter here, who has been focused on the water issues here and actually is dedicated to trying to uncover the story of what's been going on here. You know, we have our own issues here in Albuquerque, and you know, back in the day, we had Intel, who was basically dumping a bunch of toxic nuclear waste, or I don't know what kind of waste. I think it was nuclear waste, some kind of bad hazardous materials waste into the Rio Grande River, desecrating our water. And I don't like. Does anyone ever go test our water still? Is our water still contaminated and polluted? Does anyone go and test out what's going on, where they dumped over there by Intel? I've never even thought about that. Maybe that's something that myself, with the drop of water, can do. You know, our water advocacy group, the drop of water, you know, we just focus on gifting individuals, thanking them for protecting the water. Letting them know that to please continue doing what they're doing, continue their efforts. Don't give up. Which then lets other water protectors know, you know, that what they're doing is valid. We're giving them validation. We're making them feel worthy of the cause that they've accepted, the sacrifices that they've taken, you know, and even though it's just a simple piece of glass that I can make in just a few minutes, the intention, the energy, the power that the drop of water has. Individuals have worn it all the way to their graves. They've been buried with it. You know, they woke up in a hospital very upset because doctors cut it off of them. You know, the first thing they ask for is, where's my water drop? Not even worried about their life or what's going on with them. Many individuals hold this very sacred, very dear, very close to their hearts and to their souls. Other individuals try to throw it away by throwing it out into the ocean, which only casts that prayer a lot bigger and a lot further out. So thank you to those of you who tried to get rid of the drop of water by throwing it into the ocean. I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. You don't understand what these drops really are. Coming from someone who's a devotee of Krishna, coming from someone who basically, these water drops were created by creators. A clear message came to me and told me to make something simple that would symbolize water, then I can replicate over and over and over again. And that's how the drop of water were formed. It's through creator. I am just co-creator. I did not create these, but I do manufacture and I make them individually. So I guess you can say I create each individual one, but I did not create the concept of making this. That came through a message directed right at me, came right through me, and I simply just accepted that calling. That's all that was. So, I don't know what I was saying before that, but that's a huge thing that I've taken on. 3,789 of these I've been able to keep track of, or keep account of how many. You know, I don't know where all these individuals are. They've gone out through many different individuals. I didn't personally gift out that many. I've had help. Many other individuals have helped me gift them out. But these are the ones that I keep track of that we've either donated to their causes, to their campaigns, or me or other individuals that have gone around with me have helped to give. So before the lockdowns happened a few years ago, we had an event called Treasure for Trash or Trash for Treasure. It went both ways because I think I had it as Trash for Treasure. And the other individuals, they wanted to call it Treasure for Trash. And what it was is we were going to have individuals go around the river area here and to clean it up, to make sure that that all the trash is picked up around the river, you know, along the banks in the water, you know, picking up plastics, cups, bags, any sort of trash, you know, packaging materials, anything that's floating on the top or in the water, along the whole bank. And so we were going to do that a few years ago. We had it all in the news and everything. You know, it might actually be coming up soon where the memory on, you know, Facebook has these memories, and that memory might pop up of the news broadcast that we had. So I'd like to be able to share that out with you guys on here on YouTube at the Glassman's World. So I'll probably just cover it real quick, you know, just my analog screen capture. I don't have the proper computers to actually take a real video screen capture. I don't have the memory on my computer to be doing any sort of downloading and rendering or anything like that, no editing. So you get it really raw here from the Glassman. This is before digital, going straight analog. Before the digital realm here. So yeah, I wanted to try to do that event again this year because, you know, we were so stoked to be doing it. It was going to be so much fun. But then, you know, shutdowns happened and we couldn't do it. So I was like, well, whenever we can get back to you know, having crowds gather again and things like that. You know, and the whole stupid mask mandates going away and all that dumb stuff. You know, I really wanted to have that happen this year, and I couldn't make it happen. I mean, maybe I can do it last minute, but I don't have the, I don't know if I can pull this off in time. It's already the 8th. We only have 24 days. We got, what, 3 weeks? I still have to finish this order up and get this out, and then try to make another 100 drops to then try to do that for World Water Day. I'd like to, but I just don't know if I have the time. And I don't want to drop the ball. But I will still have a cleanup, a trash cleanup. So instead of joining with the New Mexico treasure hunts where they were going to hide a bunch of silver coins in the area that we're picking up trash, or I don't know if we were going to do that, or if it was we were going to have people go pick up trash, and the more trash they picked up, like the bigger the prize was going to be, and every individual who came back with a bag of trash was going to get the drop of water and the silver coin. I don't know how it was going to work, or they were just going to hide these silver dollars for individuals to just find, you know. But I wanted to basically just, every individual that picked up a bag full of trash was going to be gifted the drop of water for just joining. And so I personally can do that still on either World Water Day on the 22nd, or, which I haven't even looked at the calendars yet. I don't know when the 22nd is. But we'll do it either the weekend before or the weekend after. And probably leading up to it. Probably the weekend before, so that way we can clean it, so it'll be clean for World Water Day. Alright, and sorry, I keep going quiet from time to time. And then I lose my train of thought because I'm really just trying to focus on getting these made and getting a bunch of them done for the day and just cranking them out as quick as I can. You see how hot this is? My kiln's getting up there. Yeah, it's over 1,000 degrees. I can tell when it gets really hot like that. So I had a couple individuals come in and watch. Got a couple people who press that like button, so be sure to hit that like button when you come through. And we've been going for 1 hour and 9 minutes. So that's over 1 hour and a half. We're almost at that 2-hour mark here. I haven't had anyone come in and comment, which is interesting. People just come in and watch and listen. They don't ever, I don't know if it's they don't want to be the only ones that comment, so they don't want to show like they're the only ones who are watching. Is that some kind of weird a weird thing on YouTube? Like a lot of people, when there's like tons of subscribers on a channel, right? You got people jumping in all first, you know, first comments. They're like all racing, right? And then you got individuals where they barely got any viewers, and it's like people are embarrassed to comment. Like, I don't want to be the only one commenting. I don't want to, like, is that what it is? Is people's ego and pride getting in the way here, and that's why they don't comment? I wonder. Comment below and let me know. Alright, so World Water Day, March 22nd every year. My friend is actually going up to Niagara Niagara Falls, having a water ceremony there with many individuals who are water protectors. And so that's what these are all for. So 100 of these are going up to Niagara Falls, plus 100 of the clear ones. And I'm not really going to go into any detail. I'm grateful that the glass that I make here, that I created with my hands, is reaching around the world to many individuals, but not only to many individuals, but to their hearts and to their souls. Like I said, there's individuals who have been buried with this. You know, they were upset when it was cut off in the hospital. You know, there's individuals that they've lost it in fires, and they're so distraught, and they really wish they could have the original one, but they'd like a replacement, of course. You know, there's so many people who are so connected with the drop of water. And, you know, it's a very important thing. And I feel very grateful that I'm able to take my artwork that I've been doing for 27 years now, to take my glass blowing and put it to an actual devotional service to this cause that's for the environment, to be an environmentalist, to basically be able to just simply talk about what's going on with a lot of the different water crises, the water issues all around the world. A lot of people focus on East Palestine, Ohio right now. But there's so many different things that are going on with our water. And, you know, and just being able to talk about water using my artwork to then have this platform here that I can talk about water is life, why it's important. I've been invited to so many different events that I've been able to talk to the public and give a discussion on water. Sometimes I will just share my own personal story and past with a drop of water, and how we've basically taken the drop of water and gifted it around the entire world to so many individuals, and how it's reached so many individuals' hearts and souls. And you know, this has given me such a huge platform to be able to take my glass blowing to a whole different level than anyone else ever has, as far as being a glass blower. But you know, before I was a glass blower, I was always an environmentalist. So it just takes me right back to being true to my heart, going back to my nature, and being able to utilize my God-given talent here now in a way of devotional service that is in alignment with me accepting that we are all guardians and stewards of this planet. That this is my role here, is to basically take care of the planet and to help inspire other individuals who maybe don't even know what a water protector is, and to inspire them to become individual water protectors in their own right and in their own minds, in their own homes, starting from within and then working their way out. So I really am grateful. I give all my gratitude to God for this and being able to continuously just move forward in a positive direction and influencing others, I hope. So, and thank you for tuning in and watching. I see we got someone else who's just come in. If you have never come in here, I'm Dan the Glassman, blowing glass live from Albuquerque, New Mexico here. And we're talking about World Water Day coming up on March 22nd. Every year is World Water Day, March 22nd, and it's important for us to do what we can to advocate World Water Day, to spread the awareness of water and what we can do as individuals. You know, me personally, I'm going to always be promoting and endorsing Norwex, you know, but like I said earlier, I guess I never continued what I was saying, but, you know, yeah, my wife sells Norwex. She's a personal consultant. She sells it. But It don't pay the bills, guys. You know, she could stop selling Norwex and it wouldn't make any difference in our financial paradigm. I mean, yeah, there may be a little bit here and there that we get, but in the reality and the big scheme of things, it's not going to offset us if she just quit today. Now, maybe her upline, it might hurt her upline a little bit, because they won't get any more of that percentage of her sales, you know. And the upline, you know, the upline could never just walk away at this point, because the upline makes like $3 grand a month. But my wife is still in the beginning phase of letting people know what it's all about. You know, she's trying to figure out how to get to the people. You know, like, how do you really get a person to understand what a product is without trying to sell them on the product? You know, once you start selling all salesy and like you're a salesman, then everyone just goes. It's like, later, he's trying to sell me, he's trying to take my money later. It's like, no, it's not even about that. I'm trying to give you that higher step up to bring you into a new group of elitism. There's only 3% of the world who own this product. Don't you want to be one of those 3%? Like, I don't know. I like to be a part of an exclusive club, an exclusive group where we get exclusive benefits, you know? It's really nice. But I ain't trying to sell you on it. I'm just trying to tell you that we have to start as individuals and understand that the pollution that we're pointing the fingers at, like in East Palestine and these big tankers, well, it's all because of our consumerism anyways. And what do we actually buy or consume at these stores? When we go shopping for our cleaning products, what products are we buying? Are we pointing the finger at ourselves and saying, hey, yo, don't buy that bleach. Don't buy that Windex. Do you know how much pollution that causes? Don't use those hand wipes. Don't you read the labels that you're supposed to wear gloves? People are using them to wipe their hands. It's like, no. You're supposed to wear gloves with those. Don't you read the labels of warning? 26 seconds is all it takes for those chemicals to seep into your epidermis, your skin, and get into your blood. Now, if you care, then you might want to make changes. You might want to consider looking into Norwex. But if you don't care, then you probably also eat bologna sandwiches. You probably also go and eat at McDonald's. You probably also don't really care, right? You know, Norwex is not for individuals who eat at McDonald's. Sorry to say. If you eat at McDonald's, Norwex is not for you. You know, it's for the people who want that Norwegian experience. They want to be feeling elite. They want to feel pampered. They want to feel good about themselves and what they do to the environment. That's what investing in Norwex is all about, being a true water protector. Real water protectors do invest in Norwex. Fake water protectors will continue pointing the finger, telling you that you shouldn't be using dirty chemicals while they're over there using dirty chemicals, right? Telling you not to put pipelines in while they're still driving around, not trying to bicycle anywhere, take a bus, walk, or anything like that. Use public transportation, use Uber more often. You know, our car's been down for about 8 months now. And when we had it, yeah, it was a nice luxury. But, you know, we only had that vehicle for maybe a year or two. And before that, for, I don't know, about 2 decades, I've been without a vehicle. You know, it's not that hard to get around once you've figured out how to make it happen. I somehow can still get my oxygen tank filled. I don't have my own vehicle, but I can put the call out to my network of friends and family and be like, hey, can someone help me out? I can cover your gas. I'll pay you more than what we're going to use and need. That'll give you a little step up, right? Help me up. We help each other. And bam, now we're communing. Now we're communal. Now we're working together to solve issues together. All right, I like that. You know, but individuals with cars, they're on that individual mindset, right? I gotta go to do this, or I gotta do that. You know, they're not too concerned about the whole, about all, and how it all affects everyone. And I know there's a lot of environmentalists who are car owners, and they do the best they can with bicycling to work or just whenever they can, you know, take their bike to go grocery shopping. Not everyone buys all their groceries for the month all at once. Some of us like to buy our food more fresher that way and, you know, purchase it almost on a daily. You know, back in like the 90s, I actually did go shopping every day, and our food was always fresh. I would never know what I'd have for dinner, and I'd be like, let's go to the store, let's see what we're gonna go cook. And we just get some ideas and just go shop, spontaneous, find the ingredients you need for that meal, and you know, and usually you got something on hand for breakfast, so then you really just need to go get something for lunch and for dinner. You get 2 meals a day at the store. You get your walk in, or you get your bike ride in, and damn, it's such a healthy way to live, you know. And you get to be outside in nature for a moment instead of just cooped up in your car. But you know, a lot of people can't do this kind of lifestyle because they've accepted to work for one of those idiots, like I was saying, you know. Like a lot of individuals are all working for idiots who they do not look up to. The only reason why they're working for them is because they write their, sign their checks, right? You got all these bumbling idiots who run these companies, and a lot of employees think that they're the, you know, that their bosses are complete idiots. But in reality, who's working for who? And that's the interesting part of things, of mentality. But yeah, we got a lot of individuals who are in office right now, who hold office in different corporations, whether it's presidential on a national level, or if it's just statewide corporations, entities, federal corporations, entities, you know, governmental corporations, entities, whatever it may be. These individuals are voted in, and these individuals are hardly ever held accountable for their actions. So until we can actually turn these sort of accidents, or, you know, these horrific results that occur due to a person's negligence or a company's negligence, which is run by an individual who makes the ultimate decision for the company, right? That individual and the company itself should be held liable and accountable for their actions. Production should cease and desist until they figure out how to clean up their mess. You know, it's like when children are playing. You know, they've made this big old destruction in the corner here with all their toys, right? And then they go to another thing, like, no. Let me stop your playtime, and you go clean up that mess first before you move on to the next activity. Norfolk Southern, no, quit playing around with people's lives. You need to go clean up your mess over there in many other places first, I guess, before East Palestine. But I guess East Palestine is going to have they're going to get the priority, right? Because that's a huge toxic airborne event over there in Fallout, right? But just like we do with children, we're going to have to stop these leaders here who think that they can just lead in going from like one thing to the next. It's like when you bring your friends over, right? And they come and play in your toy box, right? And they just pull everything out because they don't know what you got in there. And they've never seen all of it's all new. Let's pull it all out, right? And then their mommy or daddy come to pick them up and they're like, yo, later. You're like, whoa, that was fun playing with my friend. Now I got to clean up my mess and my friend's mess. Whoa, what happened here? You know, instead of laying down the rules like, yo, don't pull out all my toys. You can play with that, but we can't make a big mess. Mama and Dada don't like me making a big mess, right? Even kids can learn to teach other kids on how to set examples for each other, right? And we need to basically treat these individuals like children. You know, our president needs to have a little slap on the hand and be like, hey, why are you over here paying for someone else's ice cream when you're supposed to be over here helping these friends of yours who you invited to go and have fun over here and play with these individuals? They now made a mess. I think you need to go help them clean it up, right? So many people need to be held liable and accountable for these actions. So the thing is what is it though? It's a fine. What are we going to do? We're just going to fine these individuals some more? Is that all we're going to do? We're just going to allow Norfolk Southern to pay a fine, a hefty fine, but it's still just a fine, right? And who benefits from this fine? Who gets the money? Well, whichever court, whichever judge issues that fine, right? And whichever municipality that court, that judge works within, that city, right? So then they just get the money. This is all a big old money business here, guys. It's pretty wild. So what do you guys think about that? I know there's a few of you watching, or a couple watching right now. And I know I don't have 1,000 people watching, so you don't want to rush to be the first comment. Yeah, that's only on those who have like a million followers, right? If you got less than 1,000, then you don't want to be posting up and be like, I'm the only one watching. See, as soon as I said that, then they walk away. Run, run away. There's only one person watching now, I guess. Gone from 2 to 1. You know what was fun was that one time when I streamed the Super Bowl, and I had thousands of individuals come in. That was ridiculous. But they capped me off because I only have less than 1,000 subscribers, right? And they capped me off. They said that I didn't have enough subscribers to have as many viewers as I had in my live stream, and so they kept dropping it. As soon as it reached over like 600. And bam, it dropped it down to like 500 or 550. And then it keeps growing up, and then bam, drop it down to like 500, 550. It's like, whoa, okay. I'm watching how these algorithms work. I see. And I see how they do. They don't allow me to have that many viewers until I have brought in that many subscribers connected with me. Being a content creator and streamer is quite interesting, these little games, these rules and all these things that we gotta play. What time is it, 10? Alright. It's still early. I don't think my wife and child are up yet. so I can still continue making these. Hopefully we can get to the number 10 mark here, and I can take a breakfast break. I haven't had breakfast yet. It's almost 10 a.m. here. I don't know what time it is in your neck of the woods, but there's no woods here, no neck of the woods. We're in the desert. What neck of the desert? What crook of the desert are you in? Aw, I see our black alley cat is back. That's the one I saved a long time ago. Got stuck in the fence. And I think all the other cats were taken or rehomed or something, but this one. Oh, I wonder if this one just had kittens actually. Now that I think about it. Found a kitten out there in the street recently. I tried to save, but it was already too late. But we gave that little kitten so much love. It was probably the first time ever being held by a human and shown any kind of love or affection, ever being pet or touched in any way. And had beautiful vibrational music, chanting going on in that little kitten's transition. But I just realized, like, wait, whoa, this cat that I saved is a complete full black cat. I don't know if it's male or female, but the kitten that I found was a black and white tuxedo cat. And maybe, just maybe, they could be related. Maybe there are more kittens around. Maybe we have kittens in our backyard and I don't even know it. Because the mother actually had her kittens in our backyard like 2 years ago, which was pretty wild. Alright, so we're going to work on a few more of these. Of the ocean in a drop, which I haven't really been showing you guys what they look like or anything. It's a cobalt blue center with a white accent going around it to highlight it. And then it's pulled up into a water drop form. It has a flat back on it, which makes it extremely comfortable to wear. You know, I don't know if you've ever worn the drop of water or a round necklace, and then you like go and you give your friend a hug or something like that, and then that thing just like I have one here, my honey drop, and the honey drop here, it's all rounded, right? And if you go and you give a hug to someone, it's like smashes it right onto your sternum and up against theirs. But with the flat ones, it doesn't do that. It's nice and comfortable. Like it doesn't, like I can push that right on my sternum, and because it's flat, it doesn't hurt. Having this roundness, it's like it puts that point in there, like, ow, you know? Puts that pressure right there in your bone, in your ribs. Or your breastplate there, I guess, would be, not the sternum, but, or is that the sternum? So yeah, I got I don't know how many more, few more dozen, I think. So I'm hoping that I can get these all done and then I can ship them out in the next day or two. I don't know if I can get that many out. It takes about 4 per hour. did not even start my timer today to know how long these ones have taken me. But I guess by the end of this I will know. But usually it's about 4 per hour, every 15 minutes. So at the end of 2 hours, I should have at least 8 complete, which we're coming up to right now at 2 hours, or we are at 2 hours. And do I have 8 complete? That I'm not certain, because I've been talking so much. That talking sometimes slows me down. But I just wanted to take you along on this journey here on how long it actually takes to make each one of these, how they're made, and also give you a little brief discussion on water, the importance of water, why we do what we do with gifting these out, holding water ceremonies around the world in different places. You know, and if I'm not there, it's the drop of waters can be there. You know, I don't have to always be at every single individual ceremony or gifting event. As long as the drop of water is there, my heart and my energy is also there. Just know that. But I may not personally be able to make it or accompany the drop. And if I am able to, then that's a very rare thing. You know, and I didn't have such a big family, and my wife, I was pretty free with just my daughter, who was, you know, most of the time was with her mom, so she had majority of custody. You know, it wasn't until COVID that was a blessing for me and my child. COVID was such a huge blessing for us, and we were able to then find or get back to splitting time 50-50. 1 week with her mom, 1 week with us, and it's been a beautiful blessing. So I got to say thank you to COVID and the lockdown for that one. Kind of like thanking Hitler for showing us the horrific damage and destruction one human individual can cause and create. And this whole mass hypnosis on getting people to follow along, even though it's not a very positive following. And the things that they're following is quite sinister and basically will backfire upon them eventually, you know. And it's sad because we recently have gone through all that and shut down things, and it shows them, the elite, how easily individuals are persuaded to doing what they want, to do their bidding so easily. They don't have that that mind control, that mindset, so they're not really connected with Creator, and that's a hard thing to penetrate. Once you have that connection with Creator, it's like good luck breaking that. You know, the worst they can do is remove you from your material body, but your soul is still connected. That's the thing, having your soul connected. Not just thinking about it with your mind, your material mind and brain, but actually just knowing. Like, it's embedded within me that I know I'm connected to Creator always and forever, for all eternity. That's never going to go away. Whether I choose to walk away from Creator or decide you don't exist anymore. You know, I like to, you know, I don't identify with God anymore. You know, all these individuals who identify themselves as this and that, you know. Maybe these people should just identify themselves as humans, humanitarian beliefs, you know. But whatever. They want to do whatever. That's all good. They'll come back another lifetime. They'll get the opportunity to do this all over again. They didn't like it this time? Ooh. Just wait till next time. It's going to be even worse. So the focus here is on getting these made so they can go up to Canada, all the way from the desert, the southwest desert here in the United States, Albuquerque, New Mexico, all the way up into the cold, foresty, I don't know what you call it, up north in the cold Arctic. Well, they're not Arctic, I guess, but they're cold enough and close enough. But it's really awesome that these drops travel the world. You know, one thing that I have mentioned and I say is that, you know, these water drops here, you know, like I was thinking earlier, how I was thanking individuals who, they wanted to remove themselves from the association of wearing the drop of water, right? They didn't want to have any more part of me and being associated with me or whatever. So they took their water drops and they threw them out into the ocean, not realizing, as a devotee of Krishna, that these have been prayed for and prayed over. These are sacred items. It's kind of like what we do with food, you know, and we offer it to Krishna, and then they become blessed and becomes prasadam. When you share that out, you basically are sharing that energy that was put into it. So by putting it out into the ocean, wow, you've just touched every living drop on the planet. So thank you for that. Thank you for throwing away your drop to source, taking it right back to source for me, huh? I didn't even have to do that. Wow, that was cool. It's amazing, you know. Some people would try to desecrate things like that, but in turn, all it's doing is helping. You know, I was taught a long time ago, get yourself a box of raisins, right? And then you do what you need to you know, to do the offerings and to make it blessed, right? And all you do is you take one raisin, right? And that one raisin you put back into the box, and all the raisins then become blessed. It all becomes prasadam at that point. So what they did is they took that drop and they threw it into the ocean. So now everyone can be blessed with that drop. That's beautiful. I thank you so much for all of y'all individuals who try to throw away the drop of water. You don't realize what you did, huh? Thank you for your help in spreading this prayer around the world to individuals who would have never even received that blessing. Thank you. Thank you for that. Aho. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. So we only got a few more to go here, guys. Been over that 2-hour mark. We should be done with 8 of them, but then again, I think we also started the speed before. But let me just take a look. Okay, this is number 8. So yeah, we're pretty much right on point. So we'll just finish this one up. I don't know if I can make these any quicker. I would love to be able to get these down every 10 minutes. If they weren't as big as I've been asked to make them, if I was making them in the original size here, so this is the original size, this is the larger size. It's not much different, but there is a difference. Let me see if I can put them up together. You see, that one's a lot bigger than the one back here. And it's only just a little bit more glass, but it takes that much longer, about 5 minutes longer, I guess. But if I can get these down to 10 minutes each, that would be really nice. Even if it's just 13 or 12 minutes each. So those of you who have been watching all the way through to the end of this video, if you've made it this far, which I bet you no one is going to make it this far in my video, go on ahead and comment below, hashtag the drop of water, hashtag the drop of water. And if you can add a blue water drop, hashtag the drop of water, blue water drop. Those of you who do so, it could be just one individual who makes it all the way through. But those of you who do so, I will enter you into a drawing to win one of these. So if you are the only one watching right now currently, you are the only one hearing this message. Congratulations and good luck to you. Alright, we're going to keep going. We got 2 more, so this will go for probably another 30 minutes, guys, before we end the feed. And this one probably isn't one that I'll care to even share out or anything. I just wanted to go live and kind of talk about what's going on. I don't know if anything I said is even important enough with what's happening in East Palestine. Maybe there'll be some sound clips that I can take or different video clips that might be important to share. But other than that, you know, those of you who got to hear and listen, thank you for tuning in. One thing is, I'm feeling the heat in here, guys. It's starting to get hot. I'm heating up this room. And I got a long sleeve shirt on. I don't know if I have any of my short sleeves in here I can change out real quick. I just went quiet on you guys. I don't know why. Just thinking about things. And I was just thinking, man, it is getting hot in here, and I'm getting hungry. We gotta finish this up. Come on. I'm all thinking to myself too, like, well, you know, I did make one extra last night. I could stop and make 9 just for that, have that one to go for that count of 10. But then, you know, that's one more that I'm gonna have to make later, or one less I'm gonna have to make later, or whatever, however you want to look at it. I just know that I gotta complete 100 of these as soon as possible so I can get these shipped out so they can get all the way to Niagara. And hopefully there is no sort of a weird hold up with the mail and things. I know for a while there was. And especially right now with the mail and the snow and deliveries like that, you know, I've been trying to tell my friends that we need to ship it out to the individual who's in the United States. Because I don't know if it's going to be able to make it to cross the borders internationally. I really don't know. I know there was a time when it took about 2 weeks or something like that for it to clear. When we did the overday or the 1 to 3 day overnight shipping. And of course they tell you, it's international. There's no such thing as overnight to international. But we get it there as quick as we can. It'll get there overnight, but it doesn't mean it goes through the processing overnight. You know? And sometimes when you're paying for that extra in shipping to overnight it, you may as well just do the 1 to 3 day because it's still going to get there in that same amount of time. You just paid an extra like 20 or 40 bucks more to try to get it there quicker. It's all going to be the same. But yeah, I don't really know what's going on with this weather pattern. We've been getting, like right now, beautiful blue skies outside, and just a day or so ago in the Sierra Nevadas, I think, them people in San Bernardino, California, them individuals are hurting right now. They're going through that cold, dark winter that's been promised to us for about, 3 years now? I don't know how long they've been promising it, but it finally hit. Like, wow, man. It's like you're waiting for that storm to come and waiting, and finally it releases, and you're like, so refreshing to finally see it's happening, but now we got to wait to see, is this storm going to let up, or is it going to be destructive and full of floods? What's going to happen? And I like to look at all situations with the silver lining, guys, so, sometimes I may look at a dark situation and try to shed some light on it in a different way than anyone else would really try to look at it. But that's just me. That's just how I am. Try to find the silver lining in everything, Sometimes laughter is the best medicine. So even if it's the worst situation or scenario, sometimes it's good to be able to just laugh at, maybe not someone's pain or something like that, but, just laugh at something. Because laughter is the best medicine. So like I said, ain't no one going to be listening to this, watching all this all the way through. If you do, you're going to be the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Might as well just start sending me an email right now with their P.O. box. Let me know where I'm sending it. You know, I actually need to do that and create my very first prize giveaway. A post that, you know, we're gonna purposely give away something on here through the Drop of Water, through Gardenia Glass, as a way of promoting probably channel subscriptions. Probably what I'll do. You know, maybe we'll push for that 1K. Finally, get that 1K, and whoever helps to push it out. And I don't know, I'm gonna have to look to see what kind of analytics I have here and what we can find online to actually like track to track if people actually like who likes and shares it, who's the first ones to like and share, who's the first ones to comment. Like you can see that, but you know who actually likes it and who actually shares it out. You know, I wonder if there's analytics in our YouTube studio or our dashboard to see where people may actually be sharing it out and how many times, how often. That would be really cool to see. All right. Can I even do 2 more? Wow, I've already burnt through that whole entire thing of blue. Okay. Try to cut this in half, perfectly in half. This is always a hard thing to do, but let me see if it's cut in half. All right, let's see. Put it on my lap. Nope. Can you see that? That's off by like 2 inches. All right, so now we got blue, blue, and blue. We got to make a couple more here. And I think we got enough glass on this rod here that I can finish up the last 2. It's getting short. It's going to start to get warm on the fingers here, but I should be able to pull it off. Alright, so let me just walk you through the procedure here. So this is called gathering. So it's basically introducing the tip of the rod into the flame, slowly melting that tip into a gradual, a smaller, like a bead, which then turns into like a small marble, and it kind of rounds itself up on the tip here. And so you go from like a stretched out point to nice rounded out, and then you want to gather it more. So you want to keep on heating it until this this marble, if you may, will gather bigger on top of the rod and become a little bit wider than the rod itself. Now this rod, I start out as a 1/2 inch or 16 millimeter rod, close to 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit more. And we make it to where it's probably, I would guess, about 18 millimeter. So you make it about 1.5 times 1.5 millimeters thicker on the side, so you get that rounded. That's how you make the drop of water, the clear ones, and then you smash that down, so you create that flat back pendant, So basically then you flatten it and you make sure it's nice and flat. And then you add your color to it. So then you grab your cobalt here. And we're going to add this right onto the back. And we mash this directly in the center. And we fuse the glass pieces together. And we gather this one up a little bit. We make this bigger than what the color rod started out as. And then we force it on the center there and push it to accumulate this blue glass, and then you melt it a little bit more from the rod to force even more of that blue color on. And it's pushing it on, also keeping that dot directly in the center. Then you flame cut it off, keep it in the flame to get it all nice and molten, and then you're going to flatten it down. So it looks like a little bit of a nipple there. You flatten it down, and as you flatten it, you make sure that you're watching. So I'm spinning it in my hand, and I'm watching how it widens when you flatten it. Right, it will widen itself out. Oops, I did not. Uh-oh. Let's see, can I do this real quick? I did not get myself any white ready. Jeez. So now that piece of glass that I just set down is cooling, and it can shock if I put it back in the flame if I don't get it in there quick enough. So we're just going to stretch this out just real quick just to make 2 more. Alright, that's good. Get this back in the flame so we don't lose it. Hopefully we don't lose it. Don't want it to pop off or crack or anything like that. We want to get that heat back on there quickly. Woo! Because it wasn't sunk in there, so that whole disc could pop right off. Alright, but we got it back on now. Okay, good. And we got this this white all stretched out and ready. There you go. So now you can see how nice and round it is, and you can see that thickness in the clear. So when I mashed it down, I really watched to make sure. I was really watching to make sure that it was flattening out to its dead center, directly in the center there. Alright, so then I bring that line all the way to where I started, and it crosses over a little bit. And then I use my paddle here to mash it down, because there's usually a little bit of a bump from that color sticking up. So now you got that white wrapped around the blue, and we're going to melt that all down. So it's always good to keep that heat in there. So I try to show you real quick without losing that heat. And then usually where it's been connected at, that is where I will pull the top from. Drawing that line, you want to be able to spin your glass in your left hand while you just put your white there and let it just slowly round around it. It's hard to make it without looking all crooked, zigzaggy, or jagged. To have a nice straight line. You know, moving forward, we may have a whole entire manufacturing company set up with glass artists working, making these once this gets really big and goes global. But until then, it's going to take teaching individuals how to actually build up a very steady hand-eye coordination, which that doesn't, I mean, it might come naturally to some, but it really takes experience. You can't just learn this overnight. You can't just take a one weekend course and then, damn, look at it, now I can do this amazing line work. Like, no, tattoo artists, they spend years and years working on their line work. You know, it's not something you can just remove or erase or delete. Same thing with glass. I mean, glass is a little bit more forgiving than the skin. We can actually wipe away some glass. You know, we can remove all the color off the surface if we really wanted to just get rid of it and pull it off and start with a fresh, clean slate. But you can't do that with skin. But once you lay down something, it's in there. Like, unless you decide you're going to remove the whole layer of skin, like, it sucks. It's a permanent thing. So as you can see, the line right there on top is a little bit wobbly, and right there on top. So there's a couple little wobbly spots. One of them is the top one right there. That's where we connect it. This one on the side, that one was my hand kind of moved a little bit, which is interesting. But those are those small little slight details that only another glass artist would really, really notice or be able to point out. You know, anyone who purchases these, they don't see those little flaws here and there. Almost at 2.5 hours, I think. I'm gonna be shutting out down the stream here really soon. Hey, what's up, Coffee? I see you actually tuned in. Oh, you like the breakdown of the Capitol Hill production. Yeah, let me move this real quick. The Noah, I would have liked to see you point out the Noah Hyde actor. I don't know who Noah, okay, N-O-A-H, Noah Hyde actor. All right, well, we're working on this one and one more, but I can stay on for a little while since you actually just tuned in, and we can keep this feed going. It's not like I don't have 100 of these to make or something. Yeah, so the truth is being revealed all at once. I call it the Poly Pandemic 2023. I have a playlist here on the Glassman's World, and basically what they're doing is they're inundating us with way too much to keep track of. The Poly Pandemic, many pandemics all at once, all around. So they're releasing this information right now, just one on top of another on top of another. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I'm trying to like even figure out what you all did here. How did you guys manage to pull that one off? And next thing you know, they're dropping a whole nother one on it, right? So, but tell me, what's the Noah? I don't know if that's what you meant to type. I would have liked to see you point out the Noah Hyde actor. All I know is that, you know, being an actor myself, background actor, movies, working in film here in New Mexico, I've been doing film since about 2004. So over 20 years now. Dang, 21 years? Holy, I'm getting old. So, you know, I haven't done film since the last production I was on was Better Call Saul Season 6. You can't see me in there, but I worked on that set. Another one that you won't be able to see me or any of the other actors that we worked with was on Finch, starring Tom Hanks in that end of the world dystopian movie where basically it's like a nuclear fallout or a chemical destruction occurred and no one survived. Kind of like what's happening in Ohio, right? And only a few individuals survive. And then they go out. Where do they go? They go to the West Coast, right? I'm going to have to watch that movie again, guys. Now that I'm thinking about it, I might have been in it, but I wasn't, like, you don't get to see everything they're filming. You just get to see the scene that they're filming. And we got removed from that film. Because at the end of the film, the robot was supposed to come and bring that dog, Goodyear. And I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. But he was supposed to bring the dog to find civilization, right? And the scientist ends up not making it, so it's all in the hands of the robot. And at the end of the movie, the robot actually finds us. But in the actual, in the filming of the movie, the robot finds us. In the actual movie, no robot. I mean, no village. They don't find anyone alive. Well, they don't find anyone. So I don't know if by me telling you guys what we did film, if that's a spoiler to part 2 of Finch. And if they actually go on the road and that becomes another thing. Like, what if they actually hire us in to do a full movie of it and they actually bring in all of us back in to do that scene? That'd be really cool. Except I've already ruined it. Because as soon as the movie was released, you know, our whole non-disclosure agreement, like once the movie is released, we are usually able to talk about the film and what we've worked on, you know, the roles that we've done and things like that. So I did. And then I watched the movie like, wait, we're not even in it. Oops. Maybe they're saving that for part 2. But I was waiting for that movie because of the whole lockdowns, all the pandemic and everything shut down the theaters, remember? The only thing that they released was like troll movies. Remember, troll movies came so huge and they're like, ooh, this whole view on demand thing, that's got some potential, right? So then they did the whole view on demand, releasing the trolls without having to have theaters. Sorry if I said they released it in theaters without having to have theaters. And then they figured out that, so then, you know, Apple TV or whatever, they ended up buying the rights to Finch. And so then it was never put into the big screen. And which was kind of sad because I wanted to see that movie. But then again, had I thought that they were going to show our scene, I would have gone to that movie like disappointed. Like, wait a minute, they cut our whole scene out. But yeah, that movie Finch is cool. Now I'm going to have to rewatch it because I think it was a chemical fallout or something. Something that happened. Was it solar flares? I don't remember 100%. All right, let me read what else. He wasn't in your clip, but was the most. Oh, you're talking about what's his name? Chansley? Is that his first name? Is Noah? The guy who's wearing the Viking hat. Who was he in The Simpsons? He was Groundskeeper Willie. Remember when Groundskeeper Willie dressed up like that in The Simpsons? All of it was planned for long ago. The whole world's a stage. And they want to create these events to keep bringing the crowds, bring the masses to them. We keep on creating these events. They're going to keep on coming. And then we're going to keep on selling them on the whole woe is me, this is a horrible thing. Get your mask out, get your respiratory things. You're going to all have to buy electric vehicles. Power grid's going to go down, so everyone needs to invest in solar and invest in all of these generators and all this stuff, right? And then they create scenarios Like, see? Told you so. Look what's happening to everyone in San Bernardino, California. See? Told you so. You better prepare. But they're not showing that there ain't nothing going on here, right? Okay, now I don't know what Noah Hyde means. So, maybe you can explain that to me. I don't know what a Noah Hyde actor is. Noah Hyde. What does that refer to? Noah Hyde. That's a new phrase for me. Now, what I understand is, you know, when I first saw that gentleman, I was like, yo, who is this guy? Who is this actor? Is what I was thinking, right? Where did they find him? Where did he come from? What's he all about? So then I started watching some videos of him when he was in Arizona, right? And I don't know if he's an attorney or he's just a public speaker talking on behalf of civil rights and different things, but he is extremely knowledgeable. He knows his shit. He is extremely well versed. He doesn't need to use books to talk about what is going on. He is uncovering truth. But the media didn't allow him to uncover truth. The media made him look like some kind of fool, some crazy lunatic. But there are videos of me who endorsed him. I personally endorsed him. I still do. He doesn't need to be sitting in there for 4 years. And I think he's basically just a patsy. I think, you know, they hired him to do something to create a narrative, and then the other side of it, you know, I don't know if it's Republicans, Democrats, or who it is, black, white, you know, whatever it is, the powers that be or whatever, right? Someone placed him there. Tucker Carlson's video recently, and that's another thing too. Why is Tucker Carlson, Fox News, now being previed and given this insider information? I mean, yeah, he is. Maybe he did do his journalist duty and actually getting it from the Freedom of Information Act. I mean, that's how a lot of the information came out from the CDC and the WHO on the truth of the matter that vaccines don't work, masks don't work. As far as spreading, or as far as they don't work as far as curbing the spread. I mean, they work for fashion. If you want to wear it for fashion, that works. That's cool. If you want to wear it just because you want to stop dust particles, you know, you don't want a lot of boogers and stuff right there. Yeah, mask will work for that. You know, I put on a mask when I do yard work because I pick up, you know, I rake up a lot of like pollen and a lot of dust. It makes me sneeze. So I don't, you know, I believe that they do work in an extent, but not for, I mean, scientifically, the labs came out, the results came out recently that they don't work. Even on the micron scale, even the Norwex mask that we were wearing, even the N95 mask that we're wearing, that block out 0.01 microns up to 95%. That's what the N95 stood for, was that it blocked up to 95%. Still not 100%. And then we had the 80s. The Norwex were like the 80s. They held back 80% of 0.01 micron, right? And then everyone else had the regular like panty mask on, their underwear mask on. People putting socks over their face. People just doing this, you know, so they can smell their own body odor. Just kidding. But yeah, you know. So what's up? What's a Noah Hyde actor? Men who wear little hats, see themselves as a Noahide actor. So okay, I see. Well, I don't know if he comes across to me as that. I mean, maybe that's what the media portrayed him as, and individuals kind of looked into him as that way. But if you really were listening to what he had to say when he didn't have the Viking hat on, he didn't have his face painted, when he was actually wearing a suit and tie and standing in front of a crowd in Arizona and speaking on the mic about truth and what was really going on and what they were really there for, and that they were fighting, that, you know, they went in to the congressional hearing room, right, where, you know, the round room right there, they do all of the laws and everything happens right there, right? And what does he do? He first gets them all together in prayer, and he thanks the police officers for finally choosing what's right and escorting them in, you know, and allowing, like, you know, so there was a prayer for the people who got in there, a prayer for the uprising, a prayer for the officers who helped them, you know, and not being resistant anymore. These individuals woke up to what was going on. They were trying to throw out Pelosi and all the other individuals, you know, that we, I don't know if you guys like that individual, but I personally don't want Pelosi in there. She looks extremely reptilian, but I don't know. What do I know? A lot of weird things going on with her husband and that attack, and some other individual being there opening up the door and then allowing him to get attacked. Now, if that was a real attack, yeah, that could have been a real attack, real hammer. Could have been a rubber hammer. He could have got knocked out by a rubber hammer. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what sort of props they use, or if they use a real guns on set like they did in the movie Rust, you know, where they got real guns on set shooting off blanks, you know. You got to watch out for all these kind of props and all these things that they show in the movies. This whole entire world is a stage, right? And then you gotta watch out for the plots and the narratives that they're trying to push onto you. Because I really didn't see him as a Noah, whatever you call it, Noah Hyde. I didn't see him as trying to be my master. I know who my master is. Hare Krishna. God is my master. But no, I didn't see him at that. You're referring to the symbolism of his costume. Okay, well, he actually spoke about that and what it meant. And I don't remember off the top of my head. But I know that, I think he was either, what was he carrying? It was some kind of like a sword or something. He had some kind of a, something or another. Maybe it was just the flag, the staff. You know, but you got to also understand what's on the flag. You got to remember that our flag, you know, with the Title IV flag laws and what happens in the Constitution, the flag is representative of specific things, right? Whether, you know, it's specific to maritime law, whether it has like a certain adornment on it, whether it has certain fringe on it, whether, you know, there's some flags that have the gold fringe. There's some flags that have, you know, they'll put a golden spike on top, or a golden eagle on top, or a golden ball on top, or some sort of a thing. they all represent something. Whatever's on there, it's like, you know, when you flip the flag over, what does that mean? Right? It means that we are we're going through it, and I forget specifically what the word means, but basically that we are calling for help, that our country is in need of help, and we're in distress, I believe, as a country. And so by flipping the flag upside down, it's showing that, right? But okay, so I'll have to like really look into what you're saying as far as what he's wearing. He disguised himself wearing fur. Fur's a natural thing to wear. If you're going in looking like a Viking, I do believe Vikings did trap animals and wear fur. But yeah, I will have to really look into that video. I'll have to try to find that video of him talking about specifically what it means. He says there's an interview, and there was a gentleman who was like, I don't know, the person on camera was trying to push the narrative on that he was like, you know, bad and trying to make him look bad. But then when he actually got him on camera and he started like speaking some really intellectual, very intelligent conversation to the camera and to the individual there, the interviewer didn't have the intellect to be able to respond in a correct way, to be able to even ask the proper questions at that point. He really just wanted to push the narrative that this guy was some crazy wacko lunatic wearing a costume. That's all. Okay, what did you see then? Can you explain to me how he disguised himself in your view? Because for me, I thought he was just referring to what would be maybe more Viking. But I wasn't, you know, I don't know much heritage in the Vikings either. You know, all I know is about Eric the Viking and Eric's son and the Nordic passageways that have come through the north, and you know, the many different Stonehenges or the time clocks that they placed in many different places, including up there in Alberta, Canada, along the I think it's the 33, maybe not the 33rd parallel. I think it's somewhere else. So that's a lot higher north. But yeah, there's a lot of these Stonehenges and things, and different stones that are in the ground that they say came from the Vikings, you know, from those who beat Amerigo. What's his name? Amerigo Vespucci, the one who they say was the guy who discovered America or whatever. But yeah, what was it that you saw? Okay, you remember him being painted red and blue. Okay, yeah. Just like also that's who groundskeeper Willie was in the Simpsons. Like pretty much identical. Right, he had the red, the blue, the white. For me, red, blue, white, that would represent being a patriot. I don't know if for Vikings, if they feel that America was like part of their claim and their discovery, you know, the Americas, and then, you know, the heritage moving into becoming, you know, the corporation of the United States of America and all that stuff. You know, the red, white, and blue, that represents the flag there. I'm not sure. It represents patriotism. And that's what January 6th was all about, was a bunch of patriots who were marching in to basically have Congress be held accountable for certain things that was hidden, you know. I will never forget that camper, the RV that got exploded in New York next to that AT&T building, which then they found out later was actually a place that they were housing the voter machines, right? And then the video that I have, which that's one video I never uploaded and shared, but if you go into slow-mo, clip frame by frame on that day when they show the news footage of that explosion, because there's a camera on the street, you know, it shows the officers walk away and then boom, big old explosion, right? Well, my discovery shows that it didn't come from the RV. There was something that hit directly in the center of that street, created a crater in that road, and the RV was still standing. They created an event there to remove those voter machines in the disguise of there was some sort of an attack at the AT&T building. So the whole thing goes all the way back to the whole voter fraud, right? And how Biden stole the election from Trump. I could care less on which one is president, except learning a lot of what Trump has done. You know, removing the U.S. from the WHO would have saved us from all those mandates that we had gone through recently. So if he does take office again, I'm pretty sure he's going to remove us from their list again. You know, that may be one of the first things that he does, because that was the first thing that Biden, well, besides Biden shutting down the the Keystone XL pipeline, shutting down oil before creating an infrastructure on electric. You know, we were supposed to create the infrastructure first, then shut it down. But instead, he's creating a scenario for sabotage to where then we get no power from the oil. We have no power set up for electrical. This allows for a situation for us as citizens of the U.S. To become reliant on government help once again, getting stimulus checks, being sent Nestle water to reservations, making sure that their doctors are coming in and giving you a little jibby jab, even though you don't really need it or feel you want it. But they'll make sure that you come get it if you want those benefits, right? So following all this stuff together, it's not just one little thing and then oh no, all of it has been connected, including that RV and all of this that happened on January 6th. And don't you guys remember? Well, don't you guys? Copy is like the only one here. But don't you remember leading up to those days? Do any of you remember the world's largest protest going on in Hong Kong, China? Y'all remember that? Do you remember the uprisings that were starting to happen here in America? All the uprisings in Spain, all the uprisings in Germany, all the uprisings in Brazil, South America, Mexico, everywhere, all around the world, all happening at once. Everyone is finally just tired of this whole thing. And then, boom, COVID, lockdown. They went from having billions of people out there in Hong Kong one day to shut it all down. Shut it all down. Do any of y'all remember that? Because that's what the whole thing was all about, was getting these individuals to basically show that the election was stolen and all this stuff was coordinated efforts. And I'm not on either side. I'm neither Democrat nor Republican. I am not a jackass nor a walking elephant in the room. I am not the elephant in the room. I am not a jackass. I am neither. My affiliation is with God. It's not political. It's spiritual. So that's where I come from. I don't take sides. I look at the whole spectrum of it all to try to uncover what's really happening. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he is a Noah actor. Is that one of those terms that they came up with in all these lockdowns and stuff? Is that a term they came up with during January 6th? You know, like the whole, when they came up with climate change back in the day, and global warming back in the day, and conspiracy theorists back in the day. You know, if anyone tried to debunk JFK, you were considered a conspiracy theorist, right? Well, that was the whole reason that opened me up to what was going on with the cannabis conspiracy and how they demonized and eradicated a plant, you know? And that led me to truth. It led me to my own understanding and truth of it. Someone can read the same things that I do and have a complete different understanding of what it is. A different interpretation altogether. But I like that, and I'm open to those communications, those conversations we should be allowed to have with one another, instead of just, just saying my way's right, your way's right, whatever. Their way is right. If we don't do what's right, then you're wrong. You know, or you don't have the greater good in mind. And then now the truth is out and revealing, the greater good did more harm than any good. Probably helped to remove your grandmother, grandfather, everyone that you love. All these individuals that went a little too soon that you couldn't even go have ceremony for. You know, a lot of individuals passed, and their families couldn't even say goodbye to them. They weren't even allowed to gather for funerals and for end-of-life ceremonies and things like that. You know, it was real sad. All because our freedoms went down the tube when we allowed for January 6th to occur and no one questioned it. Well, I did. I know my part in it. I know what I did to help bring out truth, to reveal truth. I'm a light worker. I'm a truth worker. I'm a truth seeker. I'm a light worker. I really do work through the authority of God. And you know, the worst they can do is send me right back to him, you know. Worst they can do is take me out of this bodily vessel. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, is that it? Let me count. I think that's number 10. Oh man, I need to go get some water at least. I can let this stay running if you'd like to talk some more. Yeah, there is only one truth, right? And for me, that's Vedic truth. You're right. So yeah, I may have said in all the many truths or whatever, but in reality, there is only one truth, and that's Vedic truth, you know? The absolute truth, the absolute science of God. You know, people say, science changes. It's like, that's man-made science. I'm talking about the science of God. That's in knowing that, you know, electrons and protons, they have to do this in order to form an atom's energy source, in order to be able to create a way to then vibrate and create what's known as the, the flower of life. Being able to create that that metaphor is of vibrating out 1 to 2, right? And having 2 cells, and then 2 to 4, and more and more and more and more, right? And then those many multiple truths, all little truths, all come out. But the main truth of it all is the fact that you need electrons and protons in order to flow around a nucleus or whatever. Yes, all God's creation, that is the number one ultimate truth. That's Vedic science. Vedic science is absolute science or absolute truth. Ayurveda is the science of food, knowing what foods properly go together to create a more harmonious symbiosis. That's science. That's the truth of bringing things together, you know? If you let food spoil and then you eat it, you're gonna get sick probably, right? That's the truth of it, right? If you, yes, electromagnetic, yes, the whole, we are electromagnetic energy fields here. Our chakras are wheels, right? Our wheels, our chakras are all those, it's all macro, micro. So you want to look at the atom and the cells and the electrons and protons, it's all the same thing. And we have those energy sources all running through our heart chakras and through all of our different chakras. All these balls, this is actually a two-dimensional image, but it's actually three-dimensional. And it has many different sacred geometries all within, including Metatron's cube. The cube is what they really do worship. You know, that black cube is something that they walk around in, I forget which country that is, but every year they do their prayers and they all walk around that black cube, all worshiping that black cube, you know. I just, you know, I'm not going to try to be buddy-buddy with Mr. Viking over there, you know. But I also am not going to, I'm not going to judge him in a way of like that I feel he should be prosecuted or anything, because I wasn't there. The cameras were there, and the cameras were capturing what they wanted to see. Whoever was the cameraman, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing his perspective. Whether or not he has a news reporter or anyone else who's part of the production of the events or whatever it is, right? You may have a manager, director, production assistant, whoever you have, right? But it's the cameraman and whatever he's capturing. There might be, like, you might have your news reporter saying, hey, can you pan over here? And so, bam, you're still capturing what the cameraman's seeing. It's the cameraman's perspective. So that's all that I have to go off of, because I wasn't there on January 6th, you know. But the truth is being revealed, and seeing how he would. Have you seen that video of Tucker Carlson? Before moving forward any forward with him calling him Noah Hyde actor. Okay, now I'll get familiar with Noah Hyde laws. And you remember the explosion was not from the RV. Awesome. So, you know, I look at this whole thing in a perspective of just trying to see it with my eyes wide open. I'm not taking sides. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democratic. I'm not independent. I'm not Green Party. I'm not People's Party. I'm a manifestation of God. I'm a creation of God, and I'm here to work for God in whichever ways God sees fit for me. And sometimes I may choose to just be a lazy ass and not do shit, you know, to be honest. But I do understand where my drive comes from and where my heart is and where I stand true in things. And so, before moving forward, just have you seen the Tucker Carlson videos? Because if not, then until you see that video of the Noah Hyde actor, that you consider Noah Hyde actor, until you see that video, like that's where my, that's now where this conversation is coming from. It's coming from truth being revealed, and now we're moving forward from that. So if you haven't seen it, let me just describe it to you, okay? I hope you can take me for my word. This is what I watched. Tucker Carlson, for some reason, has thousands of hours of videos like I said, maybe he got it from the Freedom of Information Act, right? And yeah, his costume has everything to do with this, yes. And so maybe Tucker Carlson did his due diligence as a reporter, you know, as a news investigator, you know. He's actually doing actual research and investigation. He got this information that comes directly from the White House surveillance cams. Undeniable. There is no doctoring this. There's no creating any any new footage, you know, with actors or anything like this after the aftermath or whatever. This is live raw footage happening minute by minute, second by second of him walking in with the crowd coming in that front room, you know, when they first broke in windows, and then people were already inside, so they let them in. You know, they were breaking in from the outside, but the doors just swung open, and then people came in. They walked through the doors. They also walked through windows that were broken, you know, to show the insurgents, right? All these people coming in. Now, it wasn't like they were mobbing in and running. Yeah, they kind of casually walked in, strolled in, and you know, the video was showing how a lot of these individuals were kind of sightseeing. They were looking around in awe and like, wow, I've never been in the White House. Have you? I've never been in there. I'd probably be looking at the architecture, looking at the statues and the carvings, the artistry. Like, for me as an artist, I would go in there looking at like, wow, all of this is white marble. Holy, how expensive is that? How much time, how many people did it take to build this one room, this pillar? Who carved this? You know, like, that's me. That's how I look at things, right? So these individuals, they just walk in, right? Now, then you see him. Horns on, he comes walking in. He's got his flag, right? And whatever else he's carrying. And he comes walking in, just casually, right? Crowds get dispersed this way or that way or whatever. Next thing you know, Tucker Carlson is showing video of him walking around by himself. Oh, no, he's not by himself. But he's not with the crowds. He's being escorted alone by Capitol Police. Undeniable proof right there. He's escorted in. They hired him to dress up in a costume to play whatever role, but they then helped him get into the congressional office there, into the, I don't know what they call it, the round room, whatever it is, right? The main room there, where everything goes down. And then he said some prayers. There was an actor on the floor, I remember, who was bleeding out. He was like he needed, like, you know, a medical emergency first responder action right away, right? But no, when what's his name, Chansley, when he walked in, escorted by the police, you know, he came in, he started saying, "Hey, how's it going? How you doing?" Pointing at the guy down there sitting up against the podium, all like he's bleeding, acting. "Hey, how's it going? How you doing? Good to see you." Then he goes up onto the podium, right? And he starts giving a prayer. And he prays for the officers. And he's grateful that they were able to find a way. Or yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, Boogie? Close the door, please. Thank you. Close the door, please. Sorry about that. So yeah, when he walked in, he gave a prayer. He was escorted in by the police, and the officers were walking around with him, trying to open up unlocked doors to see, is this one open, to let him in through that way. Oh no, that one's not. So then they turn around, they go down this other hallway, and they find their way through the maze of the White House and get him into where he needs to. So, you know, they escort him in through the top up there. And then that's where he does his whole holding the flag, and the media goes off on that, and they show him all in there. And good good PR photos and everything right there, right? And then he gets escorted downstairs into the lower level, where then he walks in and he says his hellos, and he goes up onto the podium right there, and that's where he leaves that note for Nancy Pelosi, I believe, a handwritten note or something like that. And there's other footage of when those cops are walking through, that there are a handful of other Capitol Police right there in the hallways, and these officers just escort him right in. No one is stopping him. No one's trying to arrest him. No one's trying to tell him you can't go this way, stop. It's all part of it. They allowed it to occur. So, and it's not really what he said, it's what is being shown in the footage there. Also like what I was showing in my own footage, I don't know if you saw all the way through to the end, but at the end, the casual walking out when Ashley Babbitt was supposedly or allegedly shot, the actors come walking out, right? And they're all slowly coming out. They're walking past cops that are right at the door. The doors are wide open. The cops are letting them go in. Some people are going, or some people are leaving. They're going out. Well, some people are kind of casually walking in. No one's stopping anyone, right? And this is where I'm noticing this all happening in my footage. And I notice there's a fan on the ledge of the window. I'm like, why would they have a fan on the outside of the back or the side of the White House right there, plugged in on the outside? Like, wouldn't they have fans indoor? Don't they have good air conditioning? Yeah, right. So, right, the cop in the stairwell made it look obvious when he was like getting chased up the stairs. Oh no, here, follow me. Oh no, here, follow me. They're running up, right? And then they have that whole insurgence of where, there's like all these individuals, all the cops inside that one room and getting crushed, and they're seeing that one individual. There's also footage of that officer who allegedly got struck in the head with a fire hydrant, with one of these, a fire extinguisher. So apparently someone threw one of these at him, right? Ka-tong, king, and he lost his life. Was reported on the news around the world. Oh my gosh, an officer was taken out on the Capitol building steps right there. And then there's footage of him inside moving a flag or a pole out of the way so the crowds wouldn't trip over it and hurt themselves, and doing other things on the inside. After this situation supposedly or allegedly occurred. So, yes, they were all in on it. The whole world's watching this event happen to make it look like the Don. I just call him that, Mr. Mafioso guy, because that's who he is to me. He's mafia, right? He runs Vegas. So this guy, he's probably buddy with Giuliani and all them. This individual, oh man, do I not have a lighter? Dang it, I was about to take a big old rip here. This individual, I don't know what to say about Trump. I never liked him. And then once he was out of office, I kind of saw things that he had done to help keep us away from those lockdowns and the mandates and all this stuff. And I was like, that's what he was doing. Oh, wow. I was completely blindsided, and I had no idea that that's what he was doing. So that's interesting. But yeah, so that officer, he wasn't ever taken out by the fire extinguisher, although people are still going to say that, right? Like, people are still going to say, these work, right? And they're still going to say, these work, even though the science is out. And, I got people commenting left and right on my videos, right? I got a torch nearby. Dang, you gonna make me do that? Alright, let's do it. You know how hard it is to do that? I gotta stand up and everything now. And the microphone. Oh, what's going on here? Alright, okay, let's get this microphone stretched up. Alright, this is gonna shut down the video now, or turn it into an 18 and over. I don't care. I'm not going to save this video. If it's saved, it's saved. That's cool.
That's how you clear a bong. That's how you clear a bong without choking. It's like a chong bong. I saw this guy in a video, and me and my wife were watching it. It's like, holy, this dude, he had one rig. You were joking. I'm not joking. I'm a man of action. We make things happen here. That is a proper hit, right? All in one lung. Right here. I'll save this one for oxygen. This one's all for ganja. Just kidding. So, there was this guy on the video last night, and he hit, I don't know if you do dabs, but he lit up one of his rigs, right? It's just sitting right here on the table. And he's lighting up another one. He gets that one hot. This one's already like hot and cooling, right? He gets this big old pick, does a dab. Like a big dab, right? One that would make people go, ooh, and he just takes that in, grabs the other one, gets a something else. He looks at the camera, he's holding it all in. Then he pulls out a gravity bong and he goes, and I'm just like, holy. He didn't even cough. He didn't choke. He did not even trip on that. That was a proper one. I was like, oh my God. He showed me up. He showed me up. Like, I can usually do like a dab and then take a hit or something like that, but this kid, he's like probably older than me. He looked older than me. Maybe he's not. He's probably like in his 30s. I'm sorry to say that. Sometimes, I'm sorry. My age is a blessing. My aging is a blessing. I'm almost 50. People who are 50, they look decrepit to me. It's because I smoked all this ganja. It keeps me nice and youthful. But I don't know. I don't have much more to say. I can just hang out, for a while. I can do more glass. We can just chill and wait. But I do probably need to. I probably should go. I probably need to get breakfast. I need to eat. My family's awake now. I should probably go make sure. My son, he asked for pancakes. A 3-year-old came in here and said, "Can you make pancakes?" Which I'm sure that his mama probably mentioned something about pancakes and if I could make them. So I'm going to go make some pancakes for the family, guys. But I'm going to let y'all go. And it was good hanging out. Thank you for tuning in, Coffee. I really do appreciate your viewership here and coming in, because if not, I'd just be mumbling and all talking to myself. It's what I did for the last 2.5 hours until you came in. But, I'll try to come back maybe later. I got more to make. I'll try to make these in a 10 every time. So that takes about 2 to 3 hours. All right. Love and blessings. Have a good day. I'll see you soon.